Remember Adam said that we need a jingle. Howdy everybody, and welcome to the Praise the Pickle podcast.
Woo!
Whoop whoop.
Yeah. I am your host, Mr. Benjamin.
I thought that's what your name was then, your host.
Your host. It's like Ja Rule. Your host. I'm your host, and to my right, I've got Mr. Kevin Hart.
Hello.
Hello to you too. How was your week, Kevin?
It's been a long one at work, man. Been a long one.
You guys, man, you've been rubbish in the group chat.
I can't do much, but honestly, today I was literally I barely had any of my lunch. I've started early and I didn't stop and I didn't get everything done. So, yeah.
Go back to work.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
It's alright. This is all relaxation time, Kevin. It's fine.
Kevin's sweating right now.
I am. It's very hot in my room, actually.
And to my left, I've got a Mr. Daniel Watts.
Hi.
How was your week, Dan?
Pretty good. How was yours?
Oh, thank you for asking. Unlike some people. My week was fabulous, thank you. I worked all week and played some games and slept a lot and ate lots of food. So, pretty
So you did what most sane humans should do.
Yes.
The perfect lifestyle.
Right. So this is the Praise the Pickle podcast. This is a video game podcast where we talk about games and everything that we love about them, everything that we hate about them, and everything we find incredibly mediocre about said games. And we discuss the news, we discuss your feedback, and we discuss what we've been playing. And prior to this episode, we also discussed our top 3. That's right, we are no longer doing a top 3. It is out of the picture now. So, the reasons for this, we were only ever going to do it for about 3 or 4 episodes, just so you kind of, got to know us, I guess, and got to know what sort of games we liked and stuff. And I think, 9 episodes and, probably about 40 top picks each, I think that's probably enough to get that picture, get that idea. So basically, I like horror games, Kevin likes multiplayer games, and Dan likes really arty-farty games.
One way to put it. Sure.
Oh, the way he has to put the farty at the end of it.
Yeah. So we're done. No more top 3. I'm sorry if you enjoyed it. It was a lot of effort to pick these, and we enjoyed it while it lasted. We ran out of really good ones, like best games and best moments and things like that.
Yeah, there are only a certain amount of. I mean, we could go on forever if we really tried.
We could, but it would end up being the same games is the issue.
Yeah, there's only so many games we've played in our lives. And
yeah, exactly that, yeah. So no more top 3, folks, but we're going to have more of a focus, and we are well aware that our what we've been playing section has been a bit lacking recently. So we're going to get more into that. We're going to get more in depth with the games that we've been playing, and because, we're quite good at keeping up to date with, current releases and new releases, so we're going to be more in depth because I know how much people out there like reviews, so that's the plan. Yeah, no more top 3. Sorry. So
rip did he rip?
We're gonna move straight on to feedback. Kevin, we have a jingle for you.
This is so. Wait, excuse me.
Yeah, Dan, you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. That was. I was. You know what? I was kind of expecting like a pre-made one. I wasn't expecting a live one right there, and I think it warmed my heart. I much prefer
that. You're welcome.
It feels very personal.
Yeah. No, we've been rehearsing that all week.
Oh, yeah. I can tell.
Put the hours in.
You got all the arpeggio in there.
Stop!
Word.
You have no idea how much all the musicians out there just get like a little shiver down their spine when you say that. It's just, oh man. All right, go on.
Do it to annoy you.
Hit us with the feedback. Go on.
So this week we have one piece of feedback back from Adam again. We love his emails. I like his. He did say that it was a rather long one and he was sorry, but we're not sorry. Thank you very much. We
Content.
This is exciting. I haven't actually read this yet.
Yeah, I haven't read it either, so I actually have no clue.
Okay.
So he starts off saying, "Hey guys, hello."
Hello.
God, so rude, man. When you mentioned, oh god, here we go. Martia Ligarius, I had flashbacks of the countless times I died to that guy. Fuck that guy. Not only was he really hard, but if I remember right, the reward you get for beating him isn't that great either. I think you get a crown item and access to PvP Covenant, but I don't do PvP, so all I effectively got was a crown headpiece. What's wrong with that?
Worth.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon you look pretty beautiful with that on your head.
Yeah.
I think I played Bloodborne in a similar way to you, where I relied on dodging and not getting hit, rather than having loads of health. Your description of health strat made me think of the cheesy strat in Dark Souls 1, where you max stability and health, and wear the heaviest armor you can, so you basically just face tank boss attacks and you don't get staggered, so that you can just attack them all the time and win without dodging a single attack. That is a sad way to play that game.
Why would you want to play it like that? Surely it's like a terrible game if you're not.
Yeah, like isn't the whole point of them.
Yeah,
the whole point of them games is to play it like that. I don't know why you played deliberately so it wasn't like that.
Yeah, you're playing a game with dodging mechanics and parrying and blocking and all this, these
That's literally
really cool
the game,
fighting mechanics, and you're literally just stripping all of that out to make it like a 2-button hack and slash. I don't know, it's a bit odd,
but there was a boss in Demon Souls where he was super, super hard, but really, really weak to fire. And at that point in the game, the only fire ability you had was like a fire grenade. So you'd spend like 10 minutes just standing in the corner of rooms, like lobbing fire grenades at this dude, and eventually it'd go down. It was just efficient, really. It wasn't fun, but it was efficient.
Because that's what games are for, guys. Not fun, efficiency. Did you guys ever play the DLC for Bloodborne, as the bosses in that are superb and some of the best fights in the game, like Lady Maria of Astral Clock Tower and Ludwig the Holy Blade? We did, didn't we?
We tried it, so we played it at the wrong time.
Oh yeah, we played it at 12 o'clock and it was just...
no, so the DLC is incredibly hard, yeah. But you're basically... The idea is apparently you're supposed to play it before you complete the main game, because we played it in New Game Plus, where it was already harder. Does that make sense? Yeah, we did. We completed the game and then got the DLC to play it.
Oh.
And then we tried it and it was insanely hard. Like the normal enemies were like ridiculous. There was just no way we were going to do it.
I do not remember that.
I remember spending ages trying to figure out where on earth it was as well.
I remember that bit, actually.
Yeah. They didn't signpost it very well.
If you're going to play one of the 3 Dark Souls games, I would recommend Dark Souls 3, as that was my personal favourite, and I'd say it feels the least clunky. I 100% agree.
I
also,
one thing I wanted to ask Adam as well, so message us next week if you can. What did you think of Sekiro? Because you said you played it last week, and I've been meaning to play it for ages, but apparently it's very different from Dark Souls, and I'm curious what you think about it.
I think it's nominated for Game of the Year. I think.
It wouldn't surprise me. It looks very good. It just looks very different.
Yeah, like the fastest of the series. Because Bloodborne was like more about dodging and evading, wasn't it? as opposed to.
Well, until
Dark
you get to
Souls.
Mortal Allegarius, yeah, and then you have to bloody stack
him.
that health. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Sekiro looks fun.
Also, the Stranger was a great moment. It's such a brutal fight and really does have happen super early on. Spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, close your ears.
Taking my headset off.
You fight him multiple times, and each time it maintains that brutal street brawl feel, and it really well done boss character.
Yeah,
I do
good.
remember his real name, but I won't say it because if you know a bit of Norse myth, you will recognise it and be able to guess later parts of the story.
His name's Steve.
I think that guy needs to come on the podcast one day.
What, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? We need to go into every single chip shop and just shout, Steve! Steve!
You're up, mate!
It's like, come join us. Are you back here, Dan? Did you actually take your headset off? I was really confused.
Yes,
You
I
went
did.
really quiet.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I actually took my headset off for a minute.
This bit is just for you, Ben.
Oh.
I'm loving all the Borderlands talk because I'm a big fan of the series.
Oh, I'm taking my headset off, 1 sec.
But personally, I feel like the Warrior, along with Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2, was a better boss than the Destroyer in the first game. It just felt like there was more hyping going into the fight, whereas one of the Destroyers is more of a surprise boss. I understand what you mean by that, but I think for me it was more the time of like the fact that you just wasn't I think that's more part of it. You wasn't expecting it, and it was the first time you faced something so great and epic. Whereas
It's a slug on a wall.
it's more okay. If you take it literally, yes, it is a slug on the wall. Congratulations.
How is that
But
epic?
it's more
like boss design I've seen in ages.
maybe it's more of a top moment for me then. Maybe I kind of mistook the top moment than a top boss.
Makes
per se.
sense.
Also, Ben, I just want to say one thing. Yeah, you get really, really salty about games you haven't played or you don't like when this is a gaming podcast. So in that case, I feel like you need to just accept that Borderlands is a game, and it's a very recent game,
And
that we're going to talk about it. And second of all, FIFA is also a game that people play. So it's something you should also accept. I'm not going to talk much about FIFA because I have nothing to say. But in general, it's a game. So I don't know why we can't accept it to the gaming podcast, of which we are.
Kevin, you're allowed to talk about Borderlands, but I have no issue with people talking about Borderlands.
It doesn't sound like that.
Hear me out, okay? Talking about Borderlands is one thing, but talking about it in some really purposely ambiguous way is so boring for people that haven't played Borderlands. And believe me, there's quite a few people out there that haven't played Borderlands. They're listening going, oh yeah, oh Dad, remember that bit where you drive in the car and you press a button and that thing happens? Oh yeah, the thing. Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah, the thing. Yeah, that was really good. And the thing after that, oh, and then the number 4 comes up on the screen. Oh yeah, the number 4, yeah. It's just like, what are you on about? It's nothing. It means nothing. That's the reason I get annoyed at it.
I know exactly what you were just talking about, though.
Yeah, well, it's quite YouTube,
the people that have played the game, they can.
And it's also like it's difficult to talk about a game that's quite new, like Borderlands, because there is an opportunity to spoil quite a lot of it by talking about those bits. But they're also
that's
good
why we're
talking points
ambiguous
for the people that do like the game. They are good moments.
Yes, well, we can do spoiler bots. All right, it's nothing wrong with that. But I'm fed up with hearing vague, sort of underlying tones of Borderlands. I don't care about the number 4. I don't know what the number 4 means.
Exactly, but people that have played the game, they'll be like, yeah.
Good
Surely someone understands where I'm coming from here at YouTube.
Of course, right? Yeah. It's quite divisive to talk about it in that way. I agree.
I do get it, but it just seems like whenever we talk about anything to do with Borderlands, you instantly have a.
You've spoken about it for 2 weeks. The first week you went on about driving around, pressing a button, and this really epic moment that you
we spoke
didn't
about
explain.
other bits as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, most of it was that. That's where I switched off for about 10 minutes, right? And then last week you spoke about the number 4.
I spoke about that for like a second.
No. Okay, there's talk around it as well. You need to be a bit more purposeful of what you're saying. You can't just be like
It's a live
so
argument,
ambiguous
guys.
about it.
It's a live argument.
Oh, shut up!
Anyway,
You bloody brought it up.
normally I'm against Kev bullying, but this week's bullying over. Oh god, here we go. Sephiroth
Hey,
and Ocarina
Sephiroth.
of Time were fully justified. I haven't played either game, but I'm still aware of them and know what they are. Yes, because you have more gaming knowledge than me, okay? It's just the way it is. If they're not multiplayer, I don't know what they are. You said that you like hearing people picking up games after you mentioned them on the podcast. And I have good news, as you also made me start playing Hades, and I'm loving it.
Yes.
The gameplay is great, and the setting is literally perfect for me.
oh,
Love
yeah,
me
that's
some
right
Greek
up
myth.
Adam's street, isn't it? Greek mythology stuff.
Yeah, it is. There you go. That's really cool. You know what? I'm just going to mention a million games, and hopefully someone will.
Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2.
FIFA 19, FIFA 18, FIFA 17. I'm also thinking of picking up Katana Zero after Ben's recommendation.
Yeah.
Me
Sounds
too.
like I would enjoy it, as I like Hotline Miami, but I had no idea what was going on story-wise. So there you go.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. If you like Hotline Miami, you'll love Katana.
Kevin's guess at how I broke my PSP was 100% correct. I didn't think I would break it when I did it, but there was instant regret. It happened many years ago when I was young and didn't want my parents to get mad at me, so I kept it quiet about it. And I still have it in my room now, still broken. Aww, that's so sad.
You should get it repaired, man.
Yeah, and then headbutt it again. Just for clarification, I have gotten better and do actually cook now. No more microwave meals for me. Oh my god.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, do we even know who this guy is anymore?
Next thing he's going to tell us that he actually sleeps like during the night.
The day. the night, yeah. Still eating loads of Jaffa cakes though. What a lad. Have you guys seen them in supermarkets now? They have their massive long packs
Yeah,
of
that's
Jaffa
where
cakes.
we first saw Adam's one. Remember we went into his cupboard and he had one of those really long ones?
Oh yeah, no, that was right on it, yeah. I see him everywhere at the moment. I think it's 'cause it's like
I used-
Christmas and all that.
Yeah.
I used to occasionally stay in Adam's room when he wasn't home at after one of your parties at yours, and I'd be laying there in bed drunk, looking in the corner of the room at this massive tube of Jaffa cakes, and being like, I wonder if anybody would notice if I just like popped the top open and stole a couple. They were so out of
Adam
date.
knew.
by that
That's
point
right,
as
Adam.
well.
Dan was contemplating robbing you.
I didn't.
Heard it first.
It was the thought. I didn't actually do it. Mainly
meant
because
it-
they were like
you
6 months out
mentally-
of date, but
Is that it?
And Dan. Oh.
Is that it?
Okay. No. And Dan, don't shit talk Civ. It was a great game.
Mate, Adam's so sassy in this email. What the hell?
No, I know, right? Although I wouldn't like to play it on console. Big strategy games like Civ don't tend to play well on a controller and much more suited to mouse and keyboard. We did say that last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
say it.
there was one
console.
RTS game I've just been reminded of way back in the PS2 days, and it was like an Alien vs Predator game, and it had a really interesting system for selecting things. So rather than drawing a box, you would put your cursor in the middle of what you wanted to select and hold down the select button, and it would like expand the circle outwards.
Oh, that's quite cool.
And then you'd let go and it would select everything within that circle. And it was a really intuitive, clever system, but I've never seen it in any other game since. I don't know why. But yeah, anyway, sorry, random.
So if any
tangent.
of you game producers and stuff out there hear this,
Yes, credit me somewhere.
Or credit
Well, no,
the actual
credit the
creators
game.
of it. Credit Dan for mentioning it on the podcast.
no, don't credit Dan. Praise the podcast.
Praise the podcast. Okay.
Praise the
Jesus Christ. We're
Nice.
10 episodes in and Kevin doesn't even know the name of the bloody podcast.
Oh, do you know how long it took me to understand what the name of it was? Every single time he was like, oh, what's it called? And I'm like, oh, I've got to look it up. Give me a sec.
What?
What? It's an unforgettable name. How dare you?
It is unforgettable. That's why I haven't forgot it.
Alright, yeah. So follow us on Twitter at Praise the Podcast.
I actually wrote this email while listening to the podcast rather than writing days after, so this one was much easier to write as stuff is still fresh in my mind. That's all from me, and I'm looking forward to moonlighting Outer Worlds.
You know what? It's happened. Remember last week, Kev? I said that if you do something twice, then it become. Hold on. Where's your poem?
What?
Oh no, don't worry. I figured it out. Don't worry. It's a proper brain fart. Yeah. Remember last week I said if you do something twice, it's now that's now a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so because you've done the poem twice, you're in for it now because you have to do it every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt both times I've asked you what we should call the game of the month thing, you've said moonlight that game. So I unfortunately think that's going to become the name now. But do you have any context as to why you're calling it moonlight that game?
I might have when I initially did it, but I think it's more of I just say that now because it just annoys you, so it's kind of a...
No, but what does it mean?
Well, it's kind of like a spotlight, but it's not a spotlight because it's a moonlight.
It kind of works though, because isn't moonlighting where you do a second job on top of your day job, like, but you're not really supposed to, like.
Yeah,
so
that's
fireman.
My god.
Exactly. There's so much depth
so, yeah.
in the Praise the Pickle podcast.
Kevin's really thought it through.
Yes, that's so perfect. Kevin, your thing is so good. I didn't even realise. That's perfect.
Okay, from now we're going to call it Praise the Kevin podcast.
No.
All right. So yeah, he finished off by saying, that's all from me. I'm looking forward to moonlighting Outer Worlds, or whatever you decide to call the monthly specials. Much love. Adam Skinner, planning technical officer, phone number of
Okay, yes, on to...
He's giving us everything, man. We've got so much power here.
If you guys want to email Adam, here's his work email.
We'll add it to the...
Add it to the show notes, yeah.
No, brilliant. Thank you, Adam.
Yes, thank you, Adam.
Hyped to have you here, Adam. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be good, man. Awesome. Thank you very much, Kevin. If people want to love us and just show their appreciation for us across all social media platforms, or by the conventional email, or even if they want to send us a handwritten letter, how would they do it, Kev?
All right. Are you ready for another poem?
Would you like a beat?
Can I do it without the beat first, and then
No, we'll do it without a beat this week, but next week you're doing it with a beat, so make sure you got extra flow, yeah?
The problem is that there's only so many words that I can continuously rhyme, and then I have to try and fit all like the same amount of syllables to make it fit a beat, because I am no rapper.
Yeah, but...
A rapper would be like really really sad about me. Like I think if he heard me, he'd cry in the corner instead of teaching kids how to rap and dance.
just go for it, Kev.
Okay. Are you ready for another poem?
Yeah, man.
Plop your pickle bums down and listen to how I flow 'em.
What? Was that the first line, or was that just like an intro?
Okay. Are you ready for another poem? Plop your pickle bums down and listen to how I flow 'em. My name is Kevin and I co-host the podcast. Contact us. Oh so fast. Hit us up on Twitter, praise the pickle yo. Listen to our replies, sipping on your cup of joe. Praise the pickle podcast at gmail.com. Quick, stop. It's flowy, it's all good. I'm going to jail. Next up, Facebook. Our favourite point of interaction. Facebook.com, praise the pickle. I await your fanfiction. Please rate, comment, subscribe, help us out in our little tribe. Time for a switch up. Hit it, K-Dots. We prevail. Never stale. High quality scale. Talk whale. Whoa. Don't need no handrail. That's me done. K-Docs out. Benji, back to you. Eagle Scout.
That was solid incredible. Effort. Oh my days, Kevin, that was so good.
That was
I think I've gone really red and I'm really hot right now.
That's so good.
I love that so much.
Kevin, I felt the flow there. I felt, honestly, in my head there was just like a... Oh,
you know what? Instead of me doing it with the beat, could you just put the beat over what I just said? I much prefer that, I think.
Oh, man, no, we're doing it with beat next week.
Okay.
Right, so for people that were laughing too much or not paying attention, it's at the Praise the Pickle on Twitter.
Excuse me?
Go on.
If people that weren't laughing and enjoying my poem, oh so much.
Much.
It's you can go to Twitter at Praise the Pickle, yo. Or Facebook, which is facebook.com/Praise the Pickle. Or our email is praisethepicklepodcast@gmail.com, and we have an Instagram, which we're doing a lot more stuff over there. We had today, I believe we had a live story from one of the from the host himself. You got to see his face.
My face.
He was looking all smirk with his cool hair.
That's what I do.
And we also have, I guess we have a YouTube as well.
Go for it, man. Just everything.
Yeah,
check
man,
it out
everything. Our website, which I'll be honest with you, I don't actually know what's on the website, but go over there.
Our podcasts are on there if you want to listen.
Our podcasts are on there. There you go. You know, go there, and then all the information's over there. I don't know why I do this poem anymore. It's fucking useless. Just go to the website and everything's there.
No, thank you very much, Kevin.
Yeah, and then please rate, like us, and subscribe, because these do go a long way. You might think your one little like and stuff is not little, believe me.
Yeah, to be fair, like even the slightly more exposure we're getting each week, like we've had something like 70 or 80 downloads this last episode, I think.
Really?
It's pretty mad. Yeah, we're on like 520 or 530 or something now.
Gee, that's been good.
It's pretty mad.
He means 70 to 80,000, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Still rookie numbers, you know. We're going for the millions, but yeah, going for the masses.
Get there one day.
Cool. Thank you, Kevin. You smashed it as always. On to the news. You ready, Kev?
Oh God. Oh yeah. Oh, so much pressure right now.
Ready? Dun, 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 dun,
Bom bom.
Epic. This week on the news, we have some stories about things that have happened.
So much enthusiasm from him.
just managed to kill the mood in 3 seconds flat. Nice.
Sorry. I mean, the news isn't that interesting this week.
News is always interesting when we're talking about it.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's my favourite bit every single week.
Yeah, same. I love the news.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Amazon. Let's start with that. So, supposedly, Amazon...
Black Friday sales. Woo!
I've started their Black Friday sales today. Yay.
Supposedly.
That's relevant to the gaming industry.
Jeez.
Next year, from the sounds of it, they're going to be potentially joining the race to game streaming, which is, well, it's not really a race anymore, is it? It's more like a who's got the best one. But yeah, Amazon might be joining the game streaming thing next year, which is surprising considering how the launch of Stadia has gone.
Yeah, what are Amazon thinking? Like, they have not got the
Risky.
infrastructure that Google have. Why the hell are they doing this?
Risky moves.
Risky?
Yep.
It's just stupid. Like, if Google can't do it, you're not going to be able to do it, Amazon.
Well,
Yeah, but you don't know next year. Maybe the technology, or they figure
No,
something.
it's not-
They got
but no,
something in their
it's
back
not-
pocket.
It's not an issue with their technology. It's an issue with the infrastructure of the world. Is the issue, like how our internet line, the internet line that I have in my house, is the issue, not what the Amazon or Google are providing. So I don't know why they're even thinking about doing this. I think it's mental, in my opinion. But
well, let's talk about Stadia a bit, because last week was just. I'm trying to work out the dates. So Stadia officially came out for early access on the 19th, right?
Yeah.
So not that everybody got to play it on the 19th that paid. So last week we were talking about the up and coming launch of Stadia. This week it's now launched. So let's talk about how it went. I mean, not that great. So
wow, who would have expected that? Oh my god, such a twist.
So it's basically a big fat paid beta test where people are paying 120 odd pounds to join the early access program. Included in that, they get sent a Chromecast, little streaming device that they plug into their TV or the projector or whatever, and a controller. So we talked a little bit last week. I'll try and skip over some of this about some of the features that we're going to be missing from launch. We know that's now confirmed. The system is out, and all the features that they said weren't going to be there are not there. So things like the buddy share system and the stream integration, all that kind of stuff. But I think the news this week really is what's it actually like. So people have got their hands on it and they're actually playing it now. Supposedly Google put out the keys in the same order that they received the orders, which is questionable already in terms of whether that's the right thing to do when people were paying for early access on the release day. Which meant that a lot of people didn't get their key to access Stadia until like yesterday. So
what?
Yeah, which is kind of annoying when you paid 120 quid.
There is a what was the figure? There's like a 4-week window that all the deliveries are happening.
Okay.
So some people aren't getting their pre-orders until like weeks.
That's nuts. The last I heard, everyone had it now, and it was only a couple of days, which is enough of an annoyance. But if I'm wrong on that, then that's even more.
I might be wrong as well, to be fair.
Than I might have imagined.
I heard it on another podcast, so they could be wrong, and then we're now wrong, and then the next podcast is going to be wrong.
Well, it's such a new, weird thing, and people are still trying to get to grips with what the hell is happening here. So even if it was a day late and you've paid 120 quid to be first through the door, that's annoying in one sense for the player that's paid all that money. But it's also, I think one of the main reasons that people sign up to be first through the door is to be there on launch day, to discover it with everybody else, to be there as part of that community.
It's all about FOMO, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it's about FOMO. Yeah. But it's also just like, if it does turn out to be...
Okay, if you just laugh, do you know what FOMO means?
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Okay, cool.
I've never heard that actually used like by a human.
It's all about FOMO, isn't it? Go on, Dan, sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you imagine the weird situation that Stadia becomes this major success in 2 or 3 years' time, right? It does really, really well. And it becomes this breakthrough platform. If you can say that you were there on day one and you discovered it on day one with everybody else, that's kind of a cool thing. But to say that you were like 2 days late to the party, it's not really what you signed up for, is it? So there's that, but there's also the actual experience of plugging the thing in and using it for the first time. So
clanky as hell, isn't it?
It's such a horrible system. So you need 2 apps to set this whole thing up with the Chromecast, at least. You need 2 apps. You need the Google Home app and you need the Google Stadia app. And the Google Stadia app only works on Pixel devices. So lots of people that have been reviewing this saying, look, I'm not going to play Stadia on my Pixel because I don't have a Pixel, I have an iPhone or whatever. I'm going to play it on my TV or I'm going to play it on Chrome in my browser. Even those people can't actually set the service up properly.
Wait, what? Really?
They have to go and find a friend that's got a Pixel device.
Oh my god!
And go through a big part of the setup process on their device.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. And associate their Gmail account that they've used Stadia with their friend's device, and it's all very weird, really. It's like it's like they're doing all of this to harvest as much data from people as possible. Like, let's get Google accounts on as many devices as possible and really kind of get in their lives. So there's that. There's the whole. I mean, lots of people went through that process. They plugged everything in. They downloaded the apps. They set up Google Home. They set up the Google Stadia app, and then got to the point where they put in their registration details, waiting for the sign up key to come through, and it hasn't come through. So there was that. There was also one of the features that they were advertising for early access was that you would get to reserve your unique username. So obviously, if you go online now and you make an account on an online service, there's that whole thing of, oh, your username's taken, let's add a number to the end, or make a variant of it. Like, these people that signed up to Stadia really early can have pretty much any name they want, which is kind of a cool thing for some people. And the way that was supposed to work, where emails were supposed to go out just before Stadia launched to let people know this is how you sign up for your username and register it. Most of those emails, if any of them at all, didn't go out at all. So nobody got that email until like the day of launch. So everyone was freaking out about that. One of my favorite things about all of this, though, so in order to do the whole 4K high fidelity game streaming, 60 FPS, super high res gaming, you need to use at the moment the Chromecast Ultra, which comes as part of the Founders Edition.
Yeah.
People have just started to report that their Chromecast Ultras are overheating because they cannot handle the streaming service.
Oh
my
god, really?
Coming through, yes, because it's not designed for game streaming. The actual thing cannot handle it, and it's overheating because it has no cooling.
Well, of course it is. That's madness.
Yeah, you'd think they would have tested it, but from the sounds of it, they've just grabbed these old Chromecasts that they've had on the shelf and go, "Oh, this will work with it. Let's just bung it in the box and send it out." So, yeah, we're getting reports of that now. Yeah, I mean...
Oh, mate, I'd be super pissed. Super pissed.
There's all this really, negative news that we knew was going to happen.
No, but we knew it was going to be bad, and we knew it was going to flop, but I didn't expect the fundamentals to flop. Oh, what was that noise?
Some stupid ass freaking bike outside my house.
Oh, bike? This was a lawnmower. No, who's cutting the grass at this time?
Kevin's mum's
it's
mowing
not
the
Saturday
carpet.
morning yet.
Yeah, so I was expecting there to be issues with, turns out it does have input lag. Oh, turns out it doesn't run very well. Things like that. But I wasn't expecting all the issues to just be, administrative issues, if that makes sense.
You think that a company like Google would have at least the admin infrastructure in place to
exactly.
sign people up to the service properly,
Yeah.
It feels like they're doing it almost on purpose to stagger things and spread things out, as you were saying, about that 4-week window, because their service just can't handle the influx of players on day one.
Not that it matters, because the bloody Chromecast can't handle it either, so it's not like they're going to have any streamers, is it?
That's one of the most surprising things about all of this, this is the ultimate streaming device. You put this in your bag with your controller, you can plug into any TV, and you can stream 4K HDR. And apparently, even after a couple, I don't know how long it takes for these things to heat up, or whether it's happening to all of them, or just a few of them. But yeah, overheating is a really concerning problem to be having at this stage at the launch.
Yeah.
This might be a really dumb question, but do you need a good TV to play this on, or is it more just to get the quality out of it? Can you still play it on some box standard, box TV type thing?
But you can play it on anything with a HDMI port, but it has to be to play 4K. Obviously, you have to plug it into a 4K TV.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously the thing with the 4K streaming is the people that have managed to test it properly are doing it on 200 meg lines, which you just don't get in this country at all.
Yeah.
So they're saying people have tested it with a 30 meg line, which is kind of the average in the UK. And Stadia has a system in place where when you do a connection test, it'll give you a rating between bad and excellent or perfect or something. And basically the UK, although it sits right in the middle at what they call the good mark, it still is noticeably quite a poor experience. It lags a lot, and you get artifacting and all these kind of compression issues. There's all of that. Digital Foundry did a really, really good video. They always do on the deep kind of technical analysis of the hardware. And they basically run some tests on what the input lag actually is on a completely ideal setup. So super, super fast, Google provided broadband line with, the best TV and the best, basically the absolute ideal situation.
Yeah.
And even then, they have shown that the quality of the image that you get through is quite exceptional. It is really, really impressive what they're doing there, like how it looks. And you are getting really good frame rates, but the input lag is still an issue. Now, the people over at Digital Foundry, who are one of the most reputable sources on the technical aspects of gaming, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
They have said, I would imagine them to be very highly critical of things like that, things that affect your gameplay experience, like input lag. But they're saying that although they're registering at about 50%, 30 to 50% more than, say, an Xbox One, it is very, very easy to get used to, and it doesn't feel that bad at all. There are some weird issues with developers porting the games to the system. Like, for example, Destiny 2 only plays at 1080p, even on 4K screens. But that's because the developers aren't supporting 4K yet, strangely. There are a load of weird technical issues around it, and the input lag is there, but apparently it's not awful. It's not terrible. And now that the fire has died down, if you do go and look at the subreddits and things around Stadia, the people that are on it are starting to really, really like it.
Yeah, but that's because they're probably paid for it. It's standard stuff.
No, I don't know.
Because it's like the console argument.
It's the same group of people that were raging and ranting about it 2 days ago. And now that all the dust has settled, people are starting to actually just sit down, plug their controller in and play it. And yes, it has all these issues, but the people that are actually successfully on the system and using it are saying it's really quite good. So it's a glorified beta test for sure. And I don't think people should be expected to pay this much money for something that they're marketing as a full product. Google should have said, if you want to join the beta test, if you want to join the test, you have to pay this much to get the controller and the hardware and everything. And you'll get some special privileges like a custom username or, colourful controller. But they shouldn't have marketed this thing as a full product, because that's not what it is, quite clearly.
Is the what they've got now? Would it eventually that kit that they've got, would that eventually become the full product? Like, do they need anything else to make it a full product?
Just the controller, really.
Okay, well, it depends if there's actual hardware issues with the Chromecasts.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that can be fixed. I think it's just a really weird, disappointing thing to come out so early in the process. It kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth because it indicates that they haven't tested it properly with their own in-house hardware. It's just a strange thing. But I think it can be fixed. I don't think that's going to be the be-all and end-all of this. The Chromecast is like a little £30 stick or something. It's not an expensive product. It's basically when you sign up to Stadia, in the long run, you're supposed to be able to use any controller, I believe, but the Stadia hardware product is just the controller. In reality, it's just a controller that connects to the Wi-Fi rather than Bluetooth. Yeah. I mean, there's also, as well as needing the controller and a Chromecast at the moment, you also need an app. You need to use the Google Stadia app on a Pixel device to do things like change your streaming quality, to buy new games, all that kind of stuff. So
that's insane, man.
Yeah, it's all about
that's the most shocking thing out of all of this. The fact that you need a Google Pixel to play it on your TV. The fact that you need a phone at all to play it on your TV is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it makes no real sense.
You need a phone for a lot of things these days, man.
But there's no excuse for that. That's ridiculous.
Don't you guys have phones? You know what I mean?
Even like companies and for example, when where I work, you need to have a phone, like a good phone that has apps and stuff, in order to sign into your emails and sign into your account. So what if you get an oldish person who has a brick phone? You can't. It's the same situation as this. Maybe there's likelihood that if you're buying this product, you're going to be having a decent phone. But I do agree with you. I think it's crazy that they're so reliant on something like an app.
No, but that's the key word. It's reliant. It shouldn't be reliant. It should be optional. You should be able to use this integrated app to do stuff, but you shouldn't have to.
Surely it can't be that complicated to create a UI for the Stadia itself, if that makes sense. Like to make an app on the Chromecast, it can't be that difficult. If Netflix can do it, Amazon can do it. All these things that you go through the Chromecast to stream those things. Surely it's just the same sort of thing, right? But
Yeah,
but
you
for
can imagine
games.
so. Yeah.
So it's just like, how have you not done that? It's so lazy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It feels like there's something more to this. Like,
Yeah, I think there's
obviously the bigger agenda is to push more and more people over into the Google ecosystem. Obviously, like
Yeah, but that's incredible.
the
That's
long-term
not going to
goal.
help. Do you know what I mean? It's not going
It's
to.
not,
It's not going to make people
exactly.
think, "Oh, I want to be part of the Google ecosystem." No one's going to think that. They're going to be thinking, "Fuck Google." Like,
Yeah, but then what do we know? We're dealing with one of the biggest, smartest companies in the world. So maybe
not
they've
smart
got
enough to
something
make
up
a
their
UI.
sleeves.
Apparently,
No, but they clearly are, because they usually do really, really nice UIs, and they're really good at making UIs. And the UI that is on the Stadia is actually pretty good. It just doesn't have all of the options in it for some bizarre reason. It's all very odd. It's a very, very strange state of affairs.
I mean, because there's one of two things: they're either trying to be clever and pushing people towards the Google ecosystem, but that is just so stupid because you've got a system. The Google Stadia itself is a brand new system. It's not like if the PlayStation 5 came out, there would still be an uproar about this, but if the PlayStation 5 came out and said you can only buy games if on your Sony Xperia, you already have the Sony audience to do that. If you've got a brand new, streaming platform, you can't just be like, oh, we're also going to use this opportunity to try and get people to move to Google Pixels. And it's like, well, no, because it's a brand new thing.
Yeah,
you're not
I agree with
adopting an audience that you already have. You're trying to get a brand new audience from people that play games on Xbox and PlayStation and stuff. It's never going to work. And then so they're either trying to do that and be clever about it to try and get people on their platform, or it's just sheer laziness and they just thought, oh, I won't be an issue. It's just so dumb. Like, I don't get it. Either way, it's
I guess
stupid.
You could also compare it in a way to what's the Apple game streaming service called that they released?
Apple Arcade.
Apple Arcade. So obviously it's different, but it's still an Apple exclusive game streaming service that you need Apple devices to use. And it was always kind of marketed as that.
No, but that's playing it on this. I don't have an issue with the fact that you can only play Google Stadia on a Google Pixel. I don't have an issue with that. It's the fact that you're marketing it as something where you can play on anything, but you need a Google Pixel phone to do it. If I wanted to
this
play...
is only
Go on, sorry.
temporary.
No,
So
no,
I was gonna say it's only temporary. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I get that, but it's still really lazy. You say it's temporary, but if I bought the Stadia and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm well excited to play Stadia, and it comes day one, and I'm like, oh, I can't actually buy any games. Oh, I have to play at 720p. I've got a 200 meg line, but I can't play a 4K game because I haven't got a Google Pixel.
Yeah.
It's just
I know
so
what you mean.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's like
I think that it's possibly seeing it as the first step. Instead, I understand that they've promised a lot of things and they haven't followed through with it. But I think just seeing it as the first step to something other than just like the streaming ways, I think is at least something. You got to kind of see the positives out of this kind of stuff. I know there's a lot of negatives, and I know that it's crap. But at least see it as it is the first step, and they do have these ideas in mind. And obviously people like the idea of these ideas. Otherwise, you wouldn't have raved about it and be so upset about their letdown of it. So I think there's some of it you got to be a bit.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's definitely pioneering in a way. I mean, for example, the controller is the only controller that we know of so far that connects directly to the Wi-Fi rather than to the device that you're playing on, because they believe that cuts out the middleman and it causes less latency. And the UI is very forward-thinking. They are looking to do something fresh and different and state-of-the-art. This is, cutting-edge technology, particularly on the networking side of things, on the backbone of it. But the whole Pixel thing, needing a Pixel device to install an app just to register and to buy games. And
there is no excuse for that. That's ridiculous.
It's too big of a deal to be an oversight.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
It's not like something you can just miss and then launch the product and be like, oh no, sorry, whoops, sorry guys, we thought you'd be able to just install it on all Android devices. No, that's very, very intentional, and it doesn't make any sense because, if you, as you were saying, if you were like Samsung or Apple, and you said you need to have an Apple device to be able to do this. Like, at the very least, somebody that's got an Apple device. You can dig out an old iPod from someone's cupboard somewhere, probably.
Yeah, what absolute worst case scenario, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But with Google having such a small market share with these devices as well, it feels like they're trying to...
Push something that ain't going to happen.
They're trying to bottleneck this as much as possible and try and prevent as many people as possible from playing it at launch in every way that they can. Obviously, the long-term goal is it'll work on all Android devices. You'll be able to use any browser, any TV, any streaming device, any controller. But
the phrase "long-term goal" keeps coming out, right? But they have the problem is that they have marketed this as a fully fledged product. That's the issue. Is that they're saying you can be a day one. No, it's not day one. It's day minus 700 because we're actually in super duper early alpha beta phase. It is not a full release product. You can't say, the Google Pixel has a buddy pass system. It has this stream share system. It has this. You can use it on any device. Their whole advert has a picture of like a million different devices saying play on this and this and this and this and this. You can't say all of that, and then on their supposed day one, you can only play it on a Google Pixel, and you can only play it on a TV if you have a Google Pixel.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
I read somewhere that this was like a soft launch, like it was a gentle launch.
It's just a load of poppycock in it. People just throwing out all these phrases to try and like soften the blow. It's like, no, they've screwed up. They've called this a full launch and it wasn't a full launch. So
I just wish companies could be more transparent and honest and just say to everyone, look, everyone, I know you're really excited about this product. I know we promise you all these things, but it's not going to be ready. What do you want us to do? Do you want us to release it in an unfinished state? And take some money off? Do you want us to release it next year?
Doom Eternal, Bethesda did for a Doom Eternal. They were like, look, the game's not ready, so we're delaying it. And it's like, all right, cool. Just do that. Everyone would be so much more
at least hold your hands up and be like, yo, we understand that you'd be a bit annoyed and you was expecting this kind of thing, but as of right now, this isn't the case, and we'll update you as soon as we know anything else. And actually, I think that's one thing that's missed a lot of the time. Is big companies don't have that. What's the one I'm trying to get the words? They don't talk enough. They don't give you enough information all the time.
They talk to their shareholders.
Of course they do, but the
money talks
and stuff, and they just don't. Even if it, like a tweet to say, this is the case. At least it's something. It's out there. They've like held their hands up, and they keep updating you on the situation.
Yeah.
But it's like all of these big companies, they just don't have that. They just, I feel like they're too afraid to hold their hands up and
say we fucked up.
Yeah, or just in case they've like promised something.
Or say we're going to fuck up. Yeah.
I know something. They just at least people are paying a lot of money for this stuff, and to them it might not be a lot of money, but for a lot of people out there, it's a lot of money.
Yep.
And the least you can give them is some kind of
tell them
knowledge.
What they're buying.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a good closing statement on that matter. I think it's not much more to say. Like, they advertised it as this glorious thing, and
which it might be one day.
It might be one day, but then call that day one. Don't call this day one because it's not. Don't call it a soft launch. Don't call it a tickler. Don't call it a little feeler. Don't call it a little whatever other phrase you want to bloody call it. Don't call it that. Google have called it a day one, and it is so far away from day one. It's unreal. I've never seen something be advertised as a full release being that far away. Like,
The
it's
only thing I can
madness.
think of is No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I was
It
just
brings
thinking
me back
that.
to
Yeah,
No Man's Sky. days.
but even that didn't screw up on that level. I don't think in comparison. Like, it had a fair few things missing. Yeah, but this is functionality. It's just not there at
But
all,
a lot more money as well.
and a lot more money. Yeah, so
You know
Anyway.
what I realise that happens now? You know, I wanted my little section about like Kevin's rages or something, or like Kevin gets
Kevin's
angry.
rants. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's rants. Yeah, you've just stolen mine, Ben. You've literally just stole that. Every episode, you have your own rant.
Yeah, but it's not a section. I don't call it Ben's rants.
But
I just go
you know
for
what? Oh, okay. You know,
it. Dan,
Ish.
remember when Kevin said he wants Kevin's rants? What was my response?
just do it whenever you want.
Yeah, it will come out naturally in the show. You don't need your own section just to rant. So I'm just what was the thing?
You wait, young man. You wait.
Doing what I preach.
Preach,
Practicing.
boy.
I'm practicing what I preach. There you go. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to move on from Stadia. I'm bored of Google now.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. Shall I go through quickly list the Golden Joystick Awards?
Yeah,
winners?
this was good. Yeah, go on.
I mean, some of them were good. I mean, okay, bearing in mind the dates where all of these games were nominated and when the voting and debates were done, lots of the games that we might expect to win this year weren't ready yet. They weren't eligible. So things like Death Stranding won't be in this list.
Yeah,
So-
I think it was late October was the.
Yeah, it was around then.
No, it was even early October. I think was the nominations. So anything after that is a no-no. Which is why some games that came out in 2018 are on this list because they're after the cut-off from last year.
Yeah, and we'll see the same thing with a Game of the Year show as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so best storytelling, we've got Days Gone on the PlayStation.
Yeah, what the hell?
I don't know.
That game flopped so hard. I don't get how it did so well.
I don't know. Some people loved quite a lot about it. Nobody said it was a masterpiece or anything, but lots of people liked lots about the game.
But the unanimous across the board review I saw was that the story was pretty dreadful. So I don't get how it.
I didn't get this one. But then if you think about everything else that's come out this year, that's storytelling wise, I can't think of much from the top of my head that was meant any good. You know, up until maybe Outer Worlds and stuff like that.
Borderlands.
No. Storytelling sucked. Okay, we got best multiplayer game, Apex Legends. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll take that. I'm not even a big Apex Legends fan, but I could see why it would.
Likewise.
win.
Yeah, totally. Still playing award, Minecraft.
Yeah, fair. Does that just win every year, or?
I don't know. It seems to have
Oh no, it blew up this year, didn't it?
a
Because of
resurgence.
Cubes.
Yep. We got best visual design, Devil May Cry 5. Interesting.
Quickly,
Haven't
can I just give a shout out?
Yeah. To who?
Devil May Cry.
No, Charlotte just made me the best coffee ever, man. So when you listen to this, Charlotte, thank you. You can continue.
Gaming
that.
Nice.
Is it a gaming coffee, Ben?
Gaming coffee, yeah.
Good. Okay, she kept it in on the podcast.
Yeah.
Best,
Dan, what was Devil May Cry 5, sorry? What did it win?
best visual design.
Ah, yeah, fair. It looks awesome. Yeah.
I've heard that. I've seen some of the cutscenes and they looked wicked.
Yeah, but even like the in-game engine graphic stuff looks cool as well.
Slurp.
Wait, why are you allowed to slurp and I'm not?
I slurped a different Kev.
Are you ready?
Best indie game. Best indie game was Outer Wilds even, which
Yeah.
you're gonna play next month, I think, Ben.
Yeah. Start of next month. That's my game.
Wicked.
We need to play before Game of the Year.
This one was interesting. Esports Game of the Year was Fortnite. I was not expecting that. I genuinely thought Siege was going to take that one.
Siege?
Yeah,
Really?
it's been like rising consistently.
Yeah,
since
no,
its launch.
it's not mainstream enough though. Fortnite is so mainstream. So many kids and all sorts watch it.
I don't think there's another game out there that you can get as much money, like stupid amounts of money in that game. There's not a game close to that, is there?
No, definitely not. No.
Like even League of Legends is far away from that now.
Yeah, it's not even remotely close. Like winning a tournament. There's tournaments all the time in Fortnite, and the money is just insane. Like hundreds of thousands. It's crazy.
Best audio, Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Audio though,
I
interesting.
don't really remember hearing the audio in that game.
It's probably because you were listening to music, Kevin.
I played it with Ben, okay?
Kev got wrecked
Would
so
Ben allow
hard.
it? Oh, it's true, I did, man.
Best game expansion. This one was interesting. GTA Online Diamond Casino update.
I've heard that was meant to be really good.
I've heard it was a pretty big update. Yeah. But really, GTA Online now at this point? Wasn't it just like another in-app purchase microtransaction?
Which one was that?
GTA Online Diamond Casino update.
Oh yeah. I don't get that at all.
Don't understand that one.
Sorry. By the way, I just for transparency, why I just went there. Charlotte's been standing behind me for about 5 minutes. She was like, I don't want to shut the door because it squeaks when it shuts. She sent me a text and I was like, okay. And then she was like, thanks for the shout out, by the way. I was trying to be cute. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Best VR AR game was Beat Saber. Saw that coming.
Yeah.
Best gaming hardware, stupid award. I don't get it because there's not really any competition. Nvidia 20 series graphics or 20 series super graphics cards.
That's what you got, Kev.
Have I?
No, he hasn't got a super, has he?
Yeah, he's got a super. Yeah.
Oh,
No, he's got
done.
20 series super. Damn.
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
It's very good, by the way, Nvidia. Well done.
Yeah. Good job in video.
Not that I can tell the
Don't
difference,
listen
but
to
well
him.
done.
What do you mean you can't tell the difference? You taking the mix?
Steve was round once. He told us a great story.
Best performer was Logan Marshall Green. I've just looked up his face, but I don't know what game he was in. I'm not
Let me have a
sure.
look.
Logan Marshall Green.
Yeah. He was in quite a few things. I don't know what game he won that for. Nope.
He looks smug as hell. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, he was in Telling Lies.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to play that. That looks
Same.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Studio of the year was Epic Games. Okay. Sure. Whatever.
I mean, to be fair, everything Epic Games wise has happened this year. They've like completely blown up this year, haven't they? Where they've done
they have,
all the giveaways and making their own platform and all sorts. So I can kind of get that. To be fair.
Yeah. Studio. I guess the other studio. Yeah. I just thought like the title Studio of the Year. I thought it would be somebody that develops more interesting stuff. But I guess Fortnite Chapter 2 came out this year as well.
The Epic Games, are they the creators of Unity? No.
Don't think so. I don't know.
Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Studio of the Year, Epic Games. Best new streamer / broadcaster was Ewok.
Oh, he's the one that moved to Thingy, innit? Mixer.
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea who Ewok is.
He is the one that moved to Mixer.
I thought Ewok was a woman. Never mind.
What does he do? I'm assuming it's Fortnite.
No, Ewok is a 13-year-old deaf Fortnite pro. Female.
Oh. That's kind of cool.
So it's not the one that... No, it's not a guy that moved to Mixer, Ben. I think you're wrong on that.
He is FaZe Clan streamer Ewok leaves Twitch for Mixer.
But it's a girl.
I just said guy. I didn't know it was a girl.
Oh, I thought you said
that was the bit I got wrong, not the fact that I moved to Twitch.
Sorry, my bad.
Amazing.
Studio of the Year Breakthrough Award, House. Yes.
Who?
Breakthrough Award is House. House made Untitled Goose Game.
Oh yes, lads.
So
I'm glad they
happy
got
about
something. Yeah, that's good.
Mobile Game of the Year, BTS World, whatever. Outstanding contribution.
Wait, is that BTS World of BTS the famous Korean band?
British turkey sausage.
Yes, it is. Oh my god, it is.
It is. Oh, yes.
Yeah, did you know what BTS stands for?
No, go on.
British turkey sausage.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure
Just
about
don't
that?
believe that.
Yeah, Google it. Trust me, it's real.
No way.
Yeah.
No. Oh, god, now you've got me Google it. No. No, okay.
Oh, the gullibility.
Back to
Well, we both said no. What are you talking about?
You still googled it though.
I did
just to
Google
move
it.
on. It's fine.
Outstanding contribution, Life is Strange. PC Game of the Year, World of Warcraft Classic, expected. PlayStation Game of the Year, Days Gone Again. Xbox Game of the Year was Gears 5.
I think the fact that PlayStation's Game of the Year was Days Gone.
It's not a very good sign, is it?
It's not not at all. That implies that it's
year.
been a pretty weak year
Yep.
for PlayStation. Yeah.
Nintendo Game of the Year, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah, because that came out at the end of December last year. So
Yeah, I had to work that out. I wasn't sure
that
about
makes sense. Yeah.
Then we've got Most Wanted Game. Have a guess.
Right, don't tell me.
Need for Speed.
It's already out. First of all.
Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Oh,
Most anticipated game of next year. What is it?
The Last of Us, right?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. I don't know, I think Last of Us and Cyberpunk are probably on par, to be fair.
No, Cyberpunk's going to be way bigger.
Well,
Mainly
Cyberpunk
because
won,
it's
didn't it?
cross-platform, remember? Cyberpunk's going to be on every platform,
Yeah,
so
true.
it's got a way bigger audience. Critics' Choice Award went to Control, which I missed this year, and I really...
I've decided I'm going to play that before Christmas.
Nice, good.
Because I think
wanna
I'm
hear
wrong.
about
I've heard... Because I heard it wasn't very good. And
I don't know where you heard that, because everything I heard about
I
it
know,
was amazing.
exactly. So I think I'm wrong. So I'm gonna. Apparently, it's quite short. You can complete it in about 10 hours. So I'm gonna give it a whirl. I might get it on PlayStation so I can trade it in afterwards. Because I'm only
Good
gonna play
job.
it through once. So.
Very nice. Lifetime achievement. I'm sorry to this person. Yu Suzuki.
No,
don't
you're
know.
Suzuki.
Japanese game designer, producer, programmer, and engineer who heads Sega's AM2 team.
Oh, he's the Shenmue 3 guy.
Oh,
Yeah, that makes sense.
that's kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And finally, the ultimate game of the year was Resident Evil 2.
Hell yeah!
That was good. It was a good
It was
game.
very good. Yeah.
This list made me realise how many games I missed in the last 365 days.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. Still haven't played Resident 2 yet. The thing with this Game of the Year winner is I've heard amazing things about it and I'm sure it was really good, but it wasn't really an original concept. That's what bugs me about it a bit. It was a remake of an old game, and yes, it was like a complete redo from the ground up. But it was still basically the old mechanics and the old map system and inventory system, which obviously is tried and tested, but it's not new. It's not. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't stand out.
Okay. Like, so I never played that one, but like, it felt. I mean, if this kind of game came out back then, oh my god, was that a sick game?
It's very different to the original. Like
Okay.
it's incomparable, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah, completely. It has the same map. That is it.
Yeah, but it's got the same inventory system and the same gameplay loop, basically.
Yeah, but
The shooting's
nothing wrong with
pretty
that.
much the same as well, isn't it?
the shooting, no, it's a third-person over-the-shoulder game now.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
It's very much different. No, it's quite different.
It was
Like,
so
it's-
good,
Yeah, it
man.
was really good. Like,
I-
there's a
I-
reason
I
it won Game of the Year.
remember-
Trust me.
I've heard.
Didn't we complete it in a day?
I think
Was it two
no,
times?
no.
I came
We got
round?
right to the end in one
Yeah.
day, and then I completed it separately.
Yeah, but I was so excited. I was like, oh, I'll come back round and play it.
Yeah, but I found out we were right at the end, and I was like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to get Kevin all the way. I have to spend a whole day with him just to play like half an hour of Resi on that.
Wow. Mate, I'm a hoot and a half.
A hoot and a half. Huh? I
Yeah.
don't know about the half, but alright.
All you have is like 2 to 3 hours via voice.
It's enough. More than enough.
Wait, you want me to actually whisper in your ear other than whisper in your ear?
Okay, next bit of news is the Pokemon sales have been the fastest selling Switch game to date. Cool. 6 million in the first week. That beats Super Smash.
Mate, that's easy.
Easy clap.
We get 80 million views or listeners a week.
Before we even upload it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon we're gonna have like 70 million on this episode before Monday.
Definitely.
You know, we're actually going to release a Praise a Pickle game.
Oh, God.
It's just like Dark Souls, but all the enemies are pickles, and
Yes.
they don't actually do anything as well.
They
So-
just dance around.
No, they don't move. They're just pickles. You literally just like run around
You
the
eat
corner,
them.
and where there's normally an enemy in Dark Souls, there's just a pickle on the floor.
just
Not even
just a
standing
pickle.
up.
It's not even animated.
There's no mechanics, right? Boss fights are just slightly larger pickles. And then the final boss is a jar of pickles.
Why?
That's it.
Hold
Spoilers,
on,
sorry,
horses there.
spoilers, sorry.
The
Come on.
unique selling point is they have full physics applied to them, so you can like kick them around and roll them.
Like in Dark Souls, you know when you roll and it sort of like goes flying like that. Alright, that is way too long speaking about our pickle game.
Let's talk about the big announcement this week. I think this is gonna excite a lot of people. Excited me. So Half-Life Alex is finally here.
Do you think Valve are just trolling now?
I think that they've been developing this game for a while, and they wanted to
how
go
polished
and
it
do
looks,
something
definitely.
different.
Yeah.
And kind of because the first Source Engine games, like the old Half-Life games, were pretty revolutionary, especially partly from a visual, mainly from a physics perspective. The way that you play the game and you can manipulate objects and things. So VR was the perfect way to do another one. I think they probably considered calling it Half-Life 3, and all they've done is just taken the name away to see how people react to it. Because just adding that 3 to the end is going to really change the expectations that people have of what this is.
Yeah.
So...
No, but I wonder whether they were like, right, we're making Half-Life 3, and then after all the memes and whatever about, them announcing Half-Life 3, and then they do the little teaser thing, and everyone's like, oh my god, Half-Life 3! And then you can imagine at the last minute that, what was his name? The lead guy?
Gaben.
I could just imagine it to be like, change it. Change it. I don't want 3 anymore. Just
Get
to
it out
troll
there.
everyone. So everyone's like, oh, it's not Half-Life 3.
But let's have you seen the trailer, Kevin?
I have not.
Okay, you need to go
I didn't
watch the
even
trailer.
play the very first Half-Life, so...
Oh my god, Kevin hasn't played Half-Life. Okay, fine. I guess it's
Again, Dan, why did we invite him? Honestly, like he doesn't know Sephiroth
might have
is. He
played
doesn't
it.
know what
Was
Ocarina
that-
of Time is.
was
He
it-
never
was
played
that part of-
Half-Life.
So, was it called the Orange? Was it called Orange Box?
it was part of the Orange Box. Well,
So
I
there
think
was-
episode
there
2
was-
was yeah.
There was Portal.
Yeah.
There was...
Team Fortress.
It was Team Fortress. So, I think I might have played a bit of Half-Life. But I don't know whether or not... I think... Okay, this is going to sound really random, but I think I rented the game from Blockbuster.
I think I might have.
Fair
as well.
enough.
So,
Yeah.
I think I had I think I had to play Portal and Team Fortress through... I don't know...
But Team Fortress is an
I used to
online
get,
game,
A week.
so-
I don't know, I used to get like a week or something to play this game. In Blockbuster,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah,
whatever
sorry.
it was, but like that's literally
Blockbuster
all I
is-
had to play it. So I think I remember I started playing it or something. I remember a game around that time playing with it, and you had to jump over like there was a lot of like sewage and stuff.
Nice, Kevin. Nice. You've
I know.
just highlighted the best part of the entire Half-Life series.
What can I
All the
say?
Half-Life fans out there are so proud right now.
You know, I reckon it still holds up to this day. Honestly, I'd say play
100%
Half-Life
it
2.
does. Yeah,
Yeah.
100% it does.
Like Kev, you could probably get it for pennies, literally pennies now.
What, from Blockbuster?
No. No. Just play Half-Life 2. It's like a few hours. It's not that long, but it's such a good game. Like, I'll be really interested to see how it holds up now. And the fact that you've
Yeah.
never played it, I would highly recommend you do it because it's
It's one of those like pillars of gaming.
yeah,
It
it's
spawned a whole new wave of games.
and it had everything as well because it had like horror elements and it had just good first-person shooter stuff, good physics-based puzzles. It's just low. It's so good, man.
And the story was great, and I think that's what people are most excited about here. So we'll talk a bit about the trailer anyway because I want to talk about it. It's set, so it's a virtual reality game. It's been released by Valve, obviously, and Valve released their own virtual reality headset. Earlier this year, I think it was the Valve
Yeah.
Index. So
Yeah.
it's basically the highest fidelity headset you can get at the moment, I think, with full finger tracking and all that kind of stuff. So it comes free.
In hindsight, it kind of makes sense that they're releasing Half-Life with that. Do you know what I mean?
The headset's already out. So
no,
they've been
but it's
planning-
like it makes now they release the headset and then now that they're announcing Half-Life, I've sort of looked back and be like, well, of course they're going to make a Half-Life game for it. Do you know what I mean? Like they have very few USPs. What are they called?
USPs, unique selling points. Yeah.
No, not that. The
IPs.
IPs. Yeah, they have very few IPs, Valve, in reality. So they need to use one of them to get people on board with the Valve Index, and this was like the perfect one, I guess.
But that's the most interesting thing about this is VR is kind of stagnated a bit.
Yeah,
there's not
definitely.
really much happening. We're still waiting for that big company to take the risk and put a big budget project on the VR systems and do it properly, and that could hopefully be the little boost that VR needs. This looks like it might be that game. Anyone that's got a Valve Index, one of the Valve's headsets, will get this for free anyway. So that's kind of a cheeky little incentive for people to go and buy one, even though it's by far the most expensive headset.
But by far the best. So
by far the most, my most technologically advanced one you can get right now, I think. I don't think it's wireless though, but I'm sure that's coming.
Yeah, but the power consumption that would come with a headset with that sort of specs.
People have done it. I mean, so it's coming to all headsets though. All PC headsets. It's not coming to the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah, and it supports every different type of movement that you could want from a VR game. Every single type of hand and finger tracking that VR games and controllers support. And the game itself looks so good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I just watched the trailer while you were talking.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks mad. It's got a bit of everything, man.
Yeah,
it has got a bit of everything. Yeah. And the moment where the player sweeps all the things on the shelf to the side,
and picks up the bullet,
grabs something behind. I was like, oh my god, it's got like a proper Source physics engine. And then you see G-Man pop up at the end, and all the characters are there, and you're playing in the shoes of Alex, who's like a cool character, maybe not the best character, but a cool character. But certainly an interesting
it's a very
one.
big shoe, isn't it?
Oh mate, I'm so excited. The puzzles look cool. The visual fidelity looks excellent. Like it really looks stunning.
It looks like a fully fledged game. Obviously we are watching a trailer for it, so we don't know what it will look like through the headset. But yeah,
weirdly enough, it like watching that, I felt like I was like, it's okay. A lot of the time playing VR games, I don't really feel like I'm in the shoes of those people. I've only played a handful of games. I don't really feel like I'm really literally in the shoes of these characters. But in that game, by the way I was looking, it looked so... Everything you do, you had to actually do yourself, and you could almost feel real time as if you were that character. You don't press a reload button on your controller, you actually pick up the thing and put it in your gun, for example. Oh, man, orgasms everywhere.
I haven't played Portal 2, but I've heard excellent things about it. So, Kevin, you might like this. The two writers that wrote Portal 2 and left in 2017 are coming back and working on this game, which is not only exciting because supposedly they're really good writers, but also the fact that they're bringing back such big talent to work on this game means that they're really putting a lot of work into this. And one of the most exciting things about this as well is not just that the Source 2 engine looks great. Like the Source 1 engine was timeless. It to this day still holds up pretty damn well. The Source 2 engine looks so much better, but they're also releasing complete and full modding support all the way through with a completely fully fledged tool so people can make their own levels and maps and things.
Man.
Yes, that's what Source Engine was all about. It was all about the community of modders and people.
So
making
I literally So back in the day where I used to play horror games, and my computer could just about handle Half-Life 2, and I basically, instead of buying all these horror games and stuff, I pretty much just downloaded horror games for Half-Life 2. And like you just play through fully fledged like horror campaigns in Half-Life 2. And it was just amazing, man. It was so good.
I wonder if we'll get like a Source 2 Gary's mod or something like that.
Oh, man. I reckon we will, probably.
We have to, surely.
If they're releasing
that's part
full
of it as
modern
well.
support for that.
Gary's mod was Source Engine again, it's all part of the same kind of ethos. Yeah.
Yeah, so Source Engine, pretty much the main games were Counter-Strike Source, Gary's Mod, Team Fortress, Portal, and Half-Life. They're like the main...
Everyone always forgets Day of Defeat. That makes me really sad because I was like big on that game.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that.
I
never really played it, to be honest.
It was great. I guess another little side bit just to finish that off is it's set. The developers recommend playing Half-Life 2 Episode 2 before you play this.
Which is fantastic as well if you haven't played it.
Absolutely brilliant game. Probably maybe to remind people of what it was all about, but also apparently it ties in quite nicely and I guess fills in some of the gaps. It's set after the Combine invasion of Earth, which was I think was in Half-Life 1. They say it's not a side story, it's the next part of the Half-Life story.
That's what I mean, it's basically Half-Life 3.
Exactly,
so,
exactly.
Why just call
It's
it
a full-length
Half-Life 3?
game. They're saying it's as long as a Half-Life game, so it's like 13 hours long. It's not a little game. It's like... Because when VR developers say it's a full-length game, that could mean anything from 2 to, 20 hours.
Like 1 to 9 hours, isn't it?
Yeah. And they've also said that they're very excited about working on about further developing the Half-Life universe. So teasers, hint, hint. And it's coming out in March 2020, which is like just around the corner, which is crazy.
That's Valve for you, man. They don't need warning to get people hyped.
No,
they don't mess around. They
Half-Life. Everyone's just like, oh my god!
Yeah. Thrilled to see that. Really excited.
I love the fact that this company has been sitting with this up their sleeve for when did Half-Life 2 Episode 2 come out?
15 years ago or something?
Yeah, it's about 15. They've had this franchise sitting there for like 15 years, just waiting for that perfect moment for it to come out. People have been talking about Half-Life 3 for ages, like for so long, and they're just like, boom, it's coming out in March. And it's like, yes! So excited, man. It's so
It's not
hyped.
Half-Life 3 though, is it?
It is Half-Life 3. Dan.
It's not a Half-Life 3.
The only reason they're not calling it
Half-Life
Half-Life 3 is because it's on VR. That's literally the only reason. It's
Did
not.
you know that if you rearrange the letters Alex, it spells 3?
Nice. Yeah, nice, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you.
English lesson for everyone there. Right. Any more?
That's it. Nope, that's all I have for you guys this week.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Jesus
Thank you,
Christ. You're very welcome. Right.
I'm sorry.
So, moving on to Kevin's games that are coming out this week. Do you want a jingle?
Did I have a jingle last week for this one? Does it need a jingle?
Yeah. You ready?
Oh, okay. I'll 3, a 2, a 3, 2, 1. That was really cool, actually. I like the mix-up. So this week, absolutely pathetic week in terms of games coming out.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking.
Out there.
I mean, to be fair, last week was massive, so
yeah, that's true.
Can't...
That's true. There's a total of 6 games coming out this week. All of them are, from what I can gather, quite meh. I could be wrong. Again, I me and games, I know no idea what's going on. So the first one coming out on the 27th is a game called SD Gundam G Generation Cross Rays.
Great.
Coming out on PC and Switch. Made by
Switch! I can't wait for that one, man.
Bandai Namco.
Sounds like a mech game, which some people will be wetting their pants over right now.
It's a long-running tactical role-playing game series, turn-based tactical war.
Does it have mechs in it, like big robots?
Does it have Gundam in the name?
I think
Gundam, yeah.
I thought I heard Gundam. Yeah.
Yeah, if it has Gundam in the name, then it's a mech game.
Gonna Gundam them Mandem. November the 29th, we've got 2 games coming out: Neon Noodles, and Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. Neon Noodles is coming out on PC, made by Vivid Helix. It's a simulation and management game. You put together an efficient food factory with a cyberpunk atmosphere, so your robot chefs can get to work.
What was that called?
Neon Noodles.
Neon Noodles.
PC.
Okay.
Kind of reminds me of do you remember like Cake Mania and stuff like that?
No.
No. It's but basically you go around making different cakes.
Great.
Cake Mania was sick, man. You don't understand.
That's right, everyone. Kevin hasn't played Half-Life 2, but he's played Cake Mania. He's got his priorities right, don't worry.
Hours! So many hours. Where the water tastes like wine. This game looks alright, actually. It's coming out on everything but PC by Dimbulb Games. Although it has... Oh my god, it has already been out. So apparently this game, there was a lot of hype back... Well, there was meant to be a lot of hype around it back in 2018 when it was released on PC. Like a lot of indie fans were really, really excited about this game. But I think it was a very, very unique game that just didn't really capture many audiences. Do you remember that? I think there was a game we spoke about last week. I remember when listening back on the podcast that there was a game that was coming out that was mentioned in that XO19. Oh no, yeah. In our special podcast on the weekend. If you guys haven't listened, go back.
After this
you
episode.
Mentioned about a very specific game that was apparently going to be very unique to certain audiences. This, I think, was a game very much like that. But
I don't figure out what game you're talking about. I can't.
Where the water...
no, the game we mentioned at XO19.
Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, overall, the game was actually a bit of a flop. So yeah, go get it, guys. Bug Fables is coming out on November 30th on everything but the PC again by Moonsprout Games. It's an adventure RPG following V, Kabu, and Leif as they search Bulgaria for the everlasting sapling, a treasure said to grant immortality. Looks good for kids. So it'll be a day one release for me, that will be. It looks like a perfect game for like a 7-year-old or something. It looks... I had to look at a few of the pictures.
God, this is a shite week for games, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so bored listening to this. It's unreal.
You've got Head Snatchers, which is coming out on Switch by Iguana B. Again, it was released in 2018. It's like a stupidly hectic party game for 4 people.
Great.
And then the last one is Spirit Roots, coming out on PC by Fire Art Games. It's a fun, old-school 2D platform with a touching story. Your journey will take you through 5 atmospheric worlds, each with its own unique gameplay mechanics, enemies, and level design. Defeat the Enemiesto, return... Oh, the enemy... Oh my god! I forgot.
Enemiesto. It's Mexican
the
for
space
enemy.
in between enemies and 2. Defeat the enemies to return to your family. The enemy. So, what a load of rubbish! That was a waste of. I'm sorry, guys. I wasted about 10 minutes of your life there.
I'm bored.
That was just.
Can we move on?
I think in the future, if I think games are just going to be that bad, we'll just move on.
Let's just focus on the big ones from now on.
What a wasted jingle!
My God. Yeah, I'm sorry. So let's move on to what we've been playing.
Wait, can we all have a jingle for this one?
Oh, this is a triple jingle.
Oh my god, the freeway jingle.
Alright, Dan, your drums, Kevin, your bass, and I'll be melody.
Alright.
Who's slapping?
Excellent.
Right, what have we been playing? So, this is our section where we talk about the games that we've been playing for the last week. And kicking off this week is Mr. Daniel.
Ooh.
Let's talk about... So we've all played one game together this week, so we'll talk about that at the end. Okay. Talk about every game that you've played apart from that one.
Okay. Hold on. I have quite a lot this week.
Oh. Someone's finally been able to play it on the train, have they?
Yeah, I have actually. I have played some games on the train.
Pluck the courage up.
I got over it. Let's start with So, Ben, last week you mentioned that Star Wars was on Origin Premium.
Yeah.
And you hated on me a bit for picking it up and playing it when I realised that was a possibility. So I've been playing Star Wars, the new Star Wars game.
What?
The Jedi Fallen Order game.
Oh, so unfair, man. I really want to play it.
I mean, I couldn't say no for $15 or pounds.
If you complete it in a month, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping that will happen. I don't think it's that long of a game, depending on how you play it. So, I've got a fair bit to say about this, but I'm not that far into the game. So, it won't be heavy on sort of the late game content or the story or anything like that. What I will say is it's very, very Star Wars. And I mean that in a way that is so... It's such a warm feeling when you first... I mean, you and me, Ben, we grew up in a Star Wars household where Star Wars was a big thing, right?
Oh my god, is it a big
Yeah,
thing
we bloody did.
Yeah, it's a big thing at our house.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally have a big Star Wars figurine in your house.
One? What do you mean one?
What do you mean, one? It goes far beyond that, Kevin. You have no idea.
It's a problem now.
Actually, just got Darth Vader like captured in your back garden.
So obviously we've been in touch with Star Wars since childhood, but for me personally, I kind of lost touch with it basically since Disney took over, and for me, it just got a bit boring for me. Really, I didn't really click with it.
Didn't have its same feel, did it?
No, it's hard to describe why. It just the story wasn't as good. It didn't have that same wholesomeness to it, and the world itself, the universe, started to fall apart a bit. But when you first launch this new Star Wars game, it's the first level isn't. You don't have a lightsaber for a while. You don't get the lightsaber until about maybe 20 minutes into the game or something. So soon, but not straight away. And the first level is just basically you progressing through. So you play as Cal Kestis, I think his name is.
That was the twist. I thought you said you play as a cow. That was like the red herring in the trailers was the fact that you play a human. The actual game came out and you're just a cow.
You play as a man named Cal, and you're basically you're hiding. The story's been advertised everywhere, so this isn't spoiler territory at all. But you're basically on the run after Order 66 and all the Jedi have been killed and all that, and you're hiding out by basically getting a job as a scrap worker. You work basically scrapping old ships and stuff on this pretty desolate planet. And
Dan, just to make you aware, if you do spoil this, I will hunt you down and murder you. But
I will not spoil anything, I promise. But I just want to frame the first level because it starts off with a conversation between you, one of your colleagues and friends, and your boss, who's like a robot, basically. This is like the first 10 seconds of the game. And immediately it hits you, firstly, how good the writing is, at least in like a blockbuster Hollywood sense. It's really well done. And the facial animations are brilliant. They're so good that you could sit back and feel like you're watching a movie. You wouldn't know. They are excellent facial animations. So the back and forth dialogue between you and your colleague, your friend, is really natural. It just flows really nicely, and the interaction you have with your boss is really nice. And the first level, for about 10 minutes, you're basically navigating your way through to go and fix something at the other side of the station. But as you're navigating through, you're looking down at all of these big ships being passed through the scrapping yard, and all of the different people that work there walking around and doing their daily duties, and they're all interacting with you and responding. And the way you move around is very much like, if anybody's ever played, I'm sure many people have, played the more recent Uncharted games, where the dialogue is kind of natural, the way you interact with the world and kind of lean on walls and things and push through little gaps. The climbing mechanics are pretty much the same. Swinging on ropes, all that kind of stuff. So it's nothing new there, but it works really nicely in this setting because it comes so naturally.
It's nice to have that in a cinematic game. because it feels natural, doesn't it? It's not like really cinematic in cutscenes, and then suddenly you're running like a robot. It's just a bit...
definitely,
Yeah.
and it works so well in this sense because everything that's happening around you is like an epic scale Star Wars set. Like in the background, you can see Imperial walkers going about, and this huge crashed.
Man, stop! I can't do it anymore.
It's so nice, and the music is all there, and the sound effects are all there, and it's a really hard thing to describe without going back to it's so Star Wars. It's like it brought me right back to the original trilogy, and it feels great. So yeah, it's really exciting. The first 20 minutes, I made our dad play it. He's a huge Star Wars fan, as I've mentioned, and he was unsure about getting this game because it's a bit pricey, and it's that time of year. But I made him play the first 20 minutes as a Star Wars fan, and immediately it clicked with him, and he went, "Yeah, I'm getting this. I have to get this game." So
brilliant.
For Star Wars fans, it's a must-buy, I think, without a doubt. The gameplay itself... So, there's a difficulty thing at the start of the game. Choose difficulty. Do you want to play it like watching a film, where basically there's no challenge at all? Do you want to play it kind of in normal difficulty, where you can run around and hack things, but you might die to the occasional boss or whatever? And then I think they call it like Jedi Master, which is the harder difficulty setting. And the way they described it made me gravitate towards that, the slightly more difficult way of playing it. And it has slowed my progress down a lot in the game, but it's made the combat so much more gratifying. It feels almost Dark Souls, Bloodborne-esque. Like the way when you come across these big new enemies, the way you have to dodge and maneuver around them and respond to different patterns of attack and different weapon types. The combat's really, really nice. Like, it's as morbid as it sounds. I've said this before. I wish that when you swiped at a stormtrooper with your lightsaber, they, basically got severed in half. For some reason, it doesn't happen on human opponents. There's no like chopping heads off and.
I found so they did that on purpose. Basically, they were fully inspired by the films, right?
Yeah.
And the idea was, if you notice in Star Wars films, you only ever see a limb or something get cut off, or like cut in half or something, when it's a significant moment.
Yeah.
So it never happens you never see stormtroopers get cut in half and stuff. It's only ever like Luke's hand or Qui-Gon Jinn being slashed in half, whatever.
Yeah.
And sorry for spoilers for you guys that haven't seen Star Wars either. So that's why they did it. It's only in boss fights and stuff where it gets a bit more graphic.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, animals. If you're fighting against like a critter or an animal of some kind, you slash at them and you sever them clean in half, and you see them like flop apart. So I'm only highlighting that because I think a lot of people might go into the game expecting it to be like proper badass lightsaber gore fest type. Yeah, but it's not. It's very much like the movies in the sense that there's a bit of that, but not much. It's very heavy on the platforming, but it's done really well. It's, again, very Uncharted. You run around, you unlock things like the wall jumps, and you're swinging on ropes and getting around pretty quick. And it makes sense because you're a Force user, because you're a Jedi. It makes sense to have that little bit of extra power, but you're not flying around, You just have a little bit more ability, but it fits into the world really well. You jump between planets pretty quickly. All the planets are very, very interesting, very unique in their own way. You mentioned something.
Is it a very linear game? Is it almost
linear.
you kind of just you like traverse through a level A to B?
Interestingly, it's more like a Metroidvania where it's linear in the sense that you get to a certain.
Got to
point
use a game that I have any idea what it's about.
What's it like? So,
Hollow Knight, Ori and the Blind Forest, Metroid Prime.
Yeah, kind of.
Keep going, mate. List them all.
I've got so many. Tales of the Grad.
Well, because I'm playing on hard, it feels like sometimes I'll come up against something that I just literally can't kill. It will just slap me over and over and over again, and I just cannot defeat it. But I know that when I go and progress and do more, I can always come back. So it is kind of an open world game, but you are directed down certain paths.
I think it's been described as a loose Metroidvania.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
It's not you don't have to backtrack that much, if that makes sense. The backtracking is more if you want to get upgrades which aren't essential. So, like, you know how you get, like, blood vial increases in Dark Souls?
Yeah.
Or Bloodborne, whichever one the blood vials are in. It's this in Star Wars. It's a similar sort of thing where you can go back and get items which increase your health and base stats and stuff like that. So I don't think it's very strict. If that makes sense. It's not like, oh, you have to go here and then you have to fight your way back through the paths that you've already just been down to get a double jump, and then
No, there's nothing like that at all. Like if there's a section you can't get past, it's usually because you're not powerful enough. I think if you played it on easy, it would be a very different game. And again, that's why I highlighted the difficulty at the start. Playing it on the harder difficulty like I am has slowed me down a lot, but it feels like a very, very different game to what it would be at a lower difficulty. Like the fact that you really have to think before each encounter makes it a lot more tense and a lot more, just makes it more interesting. It does mean I'm going to struggle to complete it, and I might have to, if I start getting to the end of the month and I'm not going to quite get there, I might have to drop it down, which you can do. But if anybody's going to play it for the first time and you've got some time to actually play it, I recommend cranking it up a bit, especially if you're a fan of like Dark Souls-esque games.
So I think I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to wait until after Christmas to play it, because we all have to do our part for the Game of the Year show, and you're playing it, so that's fine, whatever. It's fine, whatever. It's fine.
Do you want to take over?
So, no, so I'll play something else, and then I'd rather wait until after Christmas and spend more time with it. I don't want to rush through it.
Yeah.
Because you started fairly early, but whereas I wouldn't be starting until the start of December, and then Game of the Year show might be like 20th or whatever, and then it's just, I don't really want to rush through it.
I feel like you can rush through a game like this, but I really feel like it's designed in a way that makes you not want to. Like, there's so many bits that you want to stop and appreciate.
Yeah.
Just the very Star Warsy moment.
What's it like graphically? Because I've heard on console it's not very good. But...
Yeah, you said this the other day, which really surprised me. So I found that the interior environments and the characters were remarkable, like really beautifully done. But I feel like there have been some sacrifices made with certain background elements. So the landscapes in the distance are stunning. The interior sort of spaceshipy type things and the character models are excellent. But there are bits like seeing things floating in water and bits of shrubbery and stuff like that. We're like, okay, so they've saved a few polygons over there to make the characters look better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it looks really, really good. Like, honestly, I'm playing it on PC at pretty high settings, so
I think that's probably the main part. I think it's not looking great on consoles, but I imagine on PC, obviously you play it what you like. So
I mean, it's pushing my PC to its limits. It's quite intensive, so I can see why a console port would struggle.
Yeah.
But
you said, if the character models and stuff and the close environments and they want it to run at 60 FPS and stuff, running that on a console is going to be quite difficult to get everything looking nice.
But yeah, it's epic cinematic game. Amazing encounters of all the different enemies and bosses and things. There are some flaky bits where, like, there's a bit where you drive. Actually, no, I'm not going to say it, but there's a couple of like vehicle bits that are a bit like, okay, was that necessary? But
I literally had my car key in my hand, ready to get in the car, come hunt you down and murder you. But it's fine. You saved yourself. You're fine.
Good. Last thing I want to say about it is BD1 is my favourite droid in Star Wars by far.
Oh man, stop!
He's the best droid. He's so adorable. I love him, and I want one so badly, so badly. So yeah, that's what I thought of Star Wars. I'm having a pretty good time. I'm just struggling with wanting to take it slowly, and I've got another game that I really, really want to play next month. So
yeah. Well, you can always rush for it first time and then play it for it again, because I will be buying it, by the way, on Steam. So you're welcome to play mine on Steam.
You're welcome to play mine on. Oh yeah, because I've only got a month to play it until I have to cancel my
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Good point. Cool. Good point. I'll try and finish it before Game of the Year though.
Yeah, cool.
So there's one other game that I want to talk about. I have played a bit of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'm kind of breeze over that because I'm taking it kind of slow on that. I'm playing it very casually. I'm not playing it hardcore like I have some of the older games, like really getting into the grind. Yeah, I mean it's Pokemon. It's it's okay. I don't have any major complaints about it, apart from the fact that your rival is the most annoying, obnoxious bastard I've ever met in a video game, and I cannot stand him. But
is your rival? It's fine. You can just kick the shit out of it.
Oh, but it's just like, you know, when you're just getting into the flow of a game and it's like it's just starting to feel good and you're really getting into your character and exploring the world. He just pops up at the most inconvenient times. All the time. You're like, oh, so yes, angry. Here we go. Finally, an epic moment. I'm going to go do this gym battle. And he'll just like pop out the front door of the gym and be like, oh, hey, I'm here. Let's battle. It's like, oh, dude, go away.
Oh, is he one of those rivals that is like friendly?
Yeah, he's your mate. He's your buddy.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah. I want him to be a Gary, man. I want him to be a dick.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's all right. It's getting more interesting in some areas. Other areas are getting a bit stale. But we'll see how that goes. I'm going to wait a bit longer for that. It's not my game of the year, I'll tell you that much.
Spoilers!
Okay, so the game I want to talk about, which I don't know if any of you have ever heard of, was recommended to me by the lovely Emma. We got talking this week, and she's clearly quite into her games and has a good taste in games from the conversation that we had. And she told me what her favourite game of all time is, and it was a game that I'd never even heard of, which I thought was really interesting. I've never really had that happen before. Usually somebody says what their favourite game is, and you're like, oh yeah, that's like...
Dan, the suspense is killing me. Come on.
I never played it or whatever. It's a game called Night in the Woods.
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, that's mad.
Have you played it? Have any of you played it?
No, I haven't played it. I've heard it's really good though.
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, cool. As if Kevin's bloody heard of it. Jesus.
Okay. Well, it's a 2017 game, I think. So it's a couple of years old, but it's one of those games that if I saw it on the App Store, I would probably glance at a couple of screenshots and be like, it's got a pretty art style, I guess. It looks alright, but it doesn't look like my cup of tea, and just keep scrolling. It's like, I don't think it would really grab me. But I thought, if somebody's going to recommend a game that is their favourite game of all time, who also loves a lot of the games that I've played and that I like, then there's got to be something to it. So I gave it a shot, and I played it over the course of this week, and finished it.
What do you think?
So I think a game like this, it's a really hard one to describe, but a game like this is not... It's the perfect example of games not being for everyone. And the first hour...
No. Like you're really trying to soften a blow.
No.
Shit.
Let me get to it. It's definitely not for everyone. And the first hour or so, I would say, it was not for me at all. I was not really enjoying it at all. So, where do I start with this? So, obviously, I finished it. And I finished it because I couldn't put it down. Honestly, I just could not put this game down.
Sounds like he's got a crush on Emma.
Nice, Kevin. It's a colourful kind of... I guess the only thing that I can think of at the moment to compare it to is like South Park, where the characters are like cut out, very flat 2D, but very colourful. The story's nothing like South Park or anything like that, but the characters are... I
was going to say.
cartoon stylized. There's not really any shadows in the world, but they're all done with like parallax depth effects. So you have all these different paper type effects.
Is it like side scroll style?
It's a side scrolling narrative adventure game.
Okay.
And it's got some of the most authentic characters and writing that I've ever experienced in a video game before. And like, I truly mean that. It was really something quite special. So the game is about your character called May, who is a really cute looking little cat. And she's come home from college because she's dropped out. Something's happened and she's dropped out. And it takes a while before you understand what that thing is. And she's gone back to her hometown, which... I've forgotten the name of it. I think the town's called Possum Springs or something. And I think it's something like that, yeah. And it's all very cutesy, and all the characters are like little cute cartoon character animals. And they're very much like little cartoons, like you'd see in maybe a 5-year-old's kids TV show or something. And you come home, and you go stay with your parents, and your old best friends are all living there. And you're basically coming back and rekindling with all your mates, but all your mates have kind of grown up a bit and they've all gone to work and they've starting to grow up, and they're getting ready to save up and move house, and some of them have got day jobs. It's all very much like the town is changing and evolving, but you're still trying to, or May's still trying to clutch on to her childhood.
Yeah.
And it's not quite a coming of age story. It's more like a story of the transition from childhood or teenagehood into adulthood.
Yeah.
And I guess the gameplay itself is at the start a bit repetitive, to be honest. So you wake up in the morning, you put your shoes on, you go down the stairs, your mum's there, your dad's probably out at work, and you go, "Hi mum, how's it going?" And she's like, "Yeah, all right, what are you doing today?" "I'm gonna go out and see my mates." But your mates are all at work, so you're like, "Oh fuck it, I'm gonna go out and go for a walk." So you go outside and you walk down the town, and all the different characters are out doing their thing, and you walk left basically because it's a side scroller, and you just keep walking left, and it's the same stuff you see every day, same houses, same buildings, and you look at stuff and you join in some little conversations with people, and then eventually you find one of your mates at work or whatever. And depending on who you talk to and what you want to do, there's a few choice-based elements. You go off and you have a little adventure with your mate. It might be helping them move house, or it might be just going to explore or going to eat donuts at the donut shop. It's like really kind of, for the most part, relatively mundane things that take the form of interesting little mini games.
Mm.
And then at the end of the day, you're like, okay, cool, that was a fun little day, and you go back home and you walk home and the same characters are there, and you get into bed and you take your shoes off and you go to sleep, and you wake up and you do the same thing the next day. So on the surface, it's this really kind of boring, dull existence.
Yeah, it really does sound like that to me.
Really dull, yeah. But it's intentional, and the more time you spend in this world, the more you learn about the different characters that live there. And they've literally, they must have designed like 200 or so unique characters with their own stories and personalities that you can interact with. And this town that you're in has this really deep history of tragedy and trauma, and you can see how this town is evolving and trying to overcome some of that. And it's got some really profound adult themes within the writing. And it's got some silly moments, like, as I say, your character is kind of going through this almost depersonalization, this disassociation type thing, where she's struggling to be a normal adult, and all of her friends are doing taxes and kind of weird stuff, but you're like, I want to be a kid, and she's holding on to that childhood. But some of this, I have not laughed as much playing a video game as I've laughed playing this game. It has got some of the funniest moments I have ever experienced in a video game, like absolutely belly laughing out loud. And it's absolutely brilliant. I cannot express to you how wonderful the characters are and some of the mini games that you play, but it's also got some of the most it's so profound, like some of the writing, especially towards the end of the game, as the characters start expressing themselves more, and as and you have these like dream sequences where all the stuff that's going on inside your head is manifesting in these dreamlands, and it's stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the nicest games I've played for a long time. It's so real, and the characters, as cartoon and as silly as they look, as caricaturized as they are on the screen, are the most human characters I've ever seen in a video game before. The way that they interact is so real. There's something intentional about how pretend everything is, and yet how true the writing is.
Yeah.
It's really hard to describe. It's so nice. I could literally talk about this game for hours. I haven't stopped thinking about it since I played it. It's remarkable. It really is.
It looks
remarkable.
really odd.
It does, doesn't it? I would never pick this game up in a million years. I would never scroll past this.
I've heard really good things about it though.
And
it was on a few Game of the Year lists 2017. Obviously, it was never going to win because it was up against Breath of the Wild. But
well, yeah. It really did. It spoke to me on quite a few levels, like some of the different characters, but oh man, Greg in this game, he was your like best friend from childhood, is this crazy hyperactive, I think he's a fox, and some of the adventures you go, some of the things you get up to, like you're basically just rekindling stuff that you used to do as a kid. And turns out, like, oh no, I can't even say it because it's going to spoil someone. Anybody that wants to play this game is going to be. Oh man,
So you basically want to live real life, but through a game.
No, nothing like that at all. It's a commentary on. This is going to sound so boring, but I'm doing a great job at that. I guess.
Oh, but he's trying so hard. I feel so bad for him.
Oh man,
Ben, what's your idea about this game?
Okay, no. South Park was a good comparison.
to the visual style.
No,
Okay.
but a good comparison in terms of the way the game is. Because I don't know if this was an intentional comparison, but from what you're saying, you know the South Park RPG games?
Yes.
You know how you
Yeah.
feel like you're in a living world there?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You see what I mean? How every character has its thing, and you go into houses and you see random things, and it's all related to little stories and stuff like that. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, and it sounds really good, and I feel like I need to play it now.
I would.
Kevin's just like, what the fuck? Back me up, man! What the hell?
Honestly, there are some lines in this game. And this game has. I think I read into it afterwards. It has something like 150,000 words of dialogue, which is more than most text-based RPGs.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of dialogue, and it was made by like 3 people plus a few people helped them out as a Kickstarter project. But some of the lines in this game and the way that they're presented gave me absolute shivers and goosebumps all the way up my body. Like, I think
it kind of sounds like it's a really good analogy. Not analogy, you know, like a representation, if that makes sense, like of what life can be like, but by using a really odd is it Adventure Time?
Yeah.
You know how
kind
Adventure
of.
Time tackle real world issues, but with weird stories and weird characters and like animals and talking cupcakes
I can see why you would compare it to that based on what I've said. But the interesting thing about this is they're not so totally wacky that you have to like read between the lines to get the point. Like, these are genuine people. Like, as you get yourself into the game, you feel like you're interacting with genuine people with real personalities and real problems and really deep connections with one another. And there is a narrative arc to it as well. Like, the last couple of chapters almost like just completely throw you off because there's some major twists that happen and everything just gets a little bit crazy towards the end, and like that whole mundane repetitiveness at the start is all kind of building up to something else that describes the bigger picture. But as you're walking around, you're reading things and you're seeing things that are all pointing towards this really interesting, rich history of this town that you're in. They feel like real people, the people that you're interacting with. And yes, there's a couple of wacky, weird characters, of course, but not that weird. Not so weird that you wouldn't expect somebody like that to live, down your street or something. It's so bizarre. It's one of the most strange games, and it's one of those games I never in a million years thought I would have enjoyed as much as I did, and it really did blow me away. I was not expecting anything like that.
Oh man, it's so expensive. It's like £17 on Switch. I was thinking that'd be a good game to play on the way to work.
It's quite an expensive game. Value wise, I don't know, but there's a lot of content. Like, there is a lot of content, and after playing it, I really want to go back and do it again and get some of that extra stuff. There's so much to explore and so much to experience in that game. I mean, for a start, one of the mini games is your character happens to like playing the bass guitar, and you've got a bass guitar in your room. So you go to band practice with your mates on some days, and if you want to practice, you can go up in your room and play the bass, and you've got all these different songs you can play. And,
That's so weird.
Yeah, but there's so much, man. There's so much.
It's like a little world. It seems like a immersive, odd.
But it's
world.
about the characters. It really is about your character and her coming to terms with growing up, and Oh man, I could literally. I've got pages and pages of stuff that every time something in that game made me go wow, I just wrote it down, and I've got pages of stuff that made me go wow, and most of it is spoilers, and I really want people to play it. So,
well, it sounds like it's right up Kevin's street.
oh, Kevin would
man.
love this. Oh. Kevin, yeah, you'd find this amazing.
Kev, what was your issue? What did you not think sounded good about it?
Just sounded a bit.
I probably didn't describe it.
It just sounded like you were playing real life through a game. So I'm just like, why not do real life instead of play a game? I'm probably looking at literally probably what the game is rather than the little individual bits that you guys do. But that's just the way I look at games a lot of the time.
But when was the last time you went on a ghost hunt?
Kev, why play FIFA when you can just go outside and play football?
Or played with a crossbow in the park, Kevin? Like, it's stuff that's silly and childlike, but it's stuff that you might have done as a child if you come across something like that. Like, yeah, let's go and hunt ghosts, or let's go and throw rocks at something in the park, or let's go and smash this, stick. Let's go and break this tree because it's going to fall down. Let's go and push it over. Like, most of the mini games are like that. They're kind of mundane, but they're silly and childlike, and there's this. Why have I picked such a bloody hard game to talk about?
It's so funny listening to this.
I probably sound like a rambling and utter idiot, but I had so much fun with this game.
A lot of our listeners might be more akin to this game.
No, I want to play it. If it wasn't 17 quid, I'd play it. That's my only issue. I've got so many games to play.
Just wait till Black Friday.
Oh, I don't think. I mean, Nintendo already have their Black Friday sale. By the way, Dan, Nintendo Black Friday sale. There's a game that you wanted on there. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is 35 quid on there.
It's not bad.
No, that was the other one. You haven't played Dragon Ball Fighter Z, have you?
No, I'm not really interested in any more games apart from one this year. I'm waiting until next year now, unless something really blows my mind. Then
all right, whatever.
I just thought of a game that this reminds me of a lot that I think Kevin's played. Kevin, you played Firewatch, right? Oh no, you didn't play Firewatch, did you?
I didn't want to say no to disappoint you, but that's the only answer.
Firewatch, right? Yes.
Ben, did you play Firewatch?
Yes.
Oh, for God's sake! How am I going to get my point across? The way this game gets its point, the way this game makes its points is beautiful. I think that's the last thing I want to say about it. Really stunning.
All right.
That's what I'm ending on that, and I'm going home. Goodbye.
Wait, where are you now?
Home, unfortunately.
It's so expensive, man. It's even expensive on PC. It's madness.
It's a huge game, though. There's so much content, seriously.
I know, but there's just so many other games. If it was a nice little cheap one, I'd probably pick it up.
I agree. I was a bit shocked at the price, but, when somebody says it's their favourite game of all time and I've never heard of it.
Is it your favourite game of all time, Dan?
No.
No, so...
No. Although I must say, one game that was recommended to me by you, Celeste, is up there right now.
Hell yeah. Alright, you played anything else this week?
Thankfully for you guys, you're probably going, thank fuck. No, I haven't. Not that.
What are we talking about? That was good. I'm incredibly intrigued by this Night in the Woods game. I've heard of it because it came up on loads of Game of the Year lists, but I didn't really hear much of it, and then I googled it while you were talking about it, and the art style just wasn't what I didn't know. You played as an animal. I didn't know it was an animal world, and I was just like, oh, okay, this is what Night in the Woods is.
The writing makes it so worth it. I promise you.
All right, moving on. Kev, go. What you played?
So the game of the Moonlight. That game, I played that game quite a bit. Being Outer Worlds.
Yes, so it's officially called Moonlighting, that game, because I don't think Kevin did this intentionally, but...
No. Kevin did do this intentionally. It's just everyone else was stupid enough
I don't
to
think
really
Kevin did this intentionally.
My meaning behind it.
Yes, which is why... So basically, okay, but context. Before the show, I said, looks like we're going to be calling it Moonlighting, that game, right? And then, was that before the show or was that in the show?
That was... Before the show?
I think it was before.
I'm sure it was before. Otherwise,
was
we can listen back to this and repeat.
Was it during Adam's feedback? I don't
remember. Might have been,
No, I think it was during Adam's feedback, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so.
You know what, guys? Let's just move on.
Let's just So yeah, Outer Worlds has been the game. I've played that most as long with the other games that we've all played. Outer Worlds is still just absolutely amazing. And any time I'm either playing this game, Outer Worlds, or I'm playing the game that we've been playing with everyone else. And it's just we'll talk about game in a month. Oh no! I started Overwatch again, which I played a couple of games of, and then one of our friends, Ryan, we're playing with. It was in one of the games, and I was like, I can feel this game making me really angry right now. And he was just like, I love how you can tell that you're going to get angry. You don't actually like...
You can feel the blood boiling.
Yeah, like you haven't got angry yet, but you know it's going to happen at one point. And then it happened, and I was like, right, I'm done with this game. Let's go play another game, because I'm done with this crap. I actually won a game, though. That's the first time I've won in God knows how long.
Jesus. Cool.
Yeah, that's again. I don't know what else to do. I can't...
Well, no, we're going to be talking about that game in a minute. So yeah. So I mean, obviously, the listeners cannot expect us to play that many games. Between us, we have quite a wide breadth, I'd say.
You know what? I think the difference as well, is that both you guys now have your long journeys that you play your Switch on.
Yeah, I haven't played any Switch games this week.
Wait, what were you doing on your journeys to work?
I was watching anime.
Oh, okay. See, exactly, man. There are other things in the world to do.
What are you watching, Ben?
I'm watching Rising of the Shield Hero.
Cool, it doesn't matter. It's not a game. Let's move on.
All right.
Thank you. We're all about games here, okay? People are here for gamage.
Yeah, but lots of gamers like animes. Are you up to date on it?
I've got like 4 episodes to go.
Oh, me and Charlotte just started the last series. The one that just got out. So we just got up to the bit where you know when Captain Irvin is like running along on the horse, and then the Titan's like and then he's like charge. No, that bit.
Is this
towards the end of season 2?
Oh mate, I'm trying. There's a bit that I don't want. You know what?
You know what I'm talking about.
We're doing exactly what me and you are doing right now.
I'm doing it on purpose, Dan. Obviously, clearly, I'm doing that on purpose. If I talk like that, I've never spoken like that. Yeah, Kevin, do you know how it feels now?
I wasn't really listening. I was just snoring.
Oh my god, he just can't be proven wrong, can he? Right. It's just a fucking mong, man. Right.
What have you been playing, Ben?
Right, so I played a smidgen of Death Stranding, which
was about 6 hours, right?
The most confusing UI on any game to ever exist, ever. It is just... I mean, Dan, it was on Monday, remember when you came around?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the UI is bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's just, I've got absolutely no idea what anything on the screen means whatsoever. I'm not even exaggerating. I have no idea at all what is going on. And like a screen will come up and like, oh, you completed a mission, and this big ass screen just pops up, and it's like, would you like to distribute the X-wing of the yellow banana cake? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, okay, cool. You need to hold down X and then press L1 and then do a sneeze. Okay, cool. Right, I'll do that. Yeah, cool. And then like, Kevin, you know, to like when you want to confirm something in a menu, yeah.
Yeah, you press A.
You know, so you go through a menu. You press A to move things around and whatever.
Yeah.
What's the normal way in a game to confirm something? Like, what's the button on a controller that you normally press after finishing something?
You mean at least your controller, so it's probably either start or A.
Exactly, start, yeah. Start. No, that would be too easy. No. So instead of using start, which is a button that does nothing while you're in the menus, might I add, okay, so they could have easily used start. No, you have to hold the button that is the button for actions. So the X button that you use to select things and stuff, you have to hold that button to confirm.
That's weird.
It's just on so many things where I'm just like, what is going on? I've got no idea. But there was this really funny moment where it was when Dan was there, and I was like, I was running away from this. I was running away from basically just random. I was running along, and then suddenly it was like, "You're being tracked by these floppy gongs," and I was like, "Oh no, not the floppy gongs!" And then I just ran, and then I was like, "Oh, I could just peg it down this hill. I'll be all right." My God, the way you stack in that game when you're running downhill is so funny. Just you completely lose control and just go flying down this hill, and your cargo on your back just flies everywhere, and it's
So in this game, if your cargo goes flying everywhere, do you have to go walk around and pick it all up again?
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's honestly, it's such a great game, and I love the fact it is what it is. I love the fact it's not a shooter or it's its own thing, and it is quite a satisfying feeling traversing across this like beautiful landscape as a postman. Like it sounds stupid, but it's really satisfying doing it. Like, putting all your things on your back and putting them in the right place, and it's almost like tuning your lorry and truck simulator, whatever it's called. No, you need to make sure you got your things on. Make sure you got a spare pair of shoes with you, because your feet get hurt, and
Aww.
make sure you got enough like Monster energy drink with you, sponsored, and then make sure you got your ladders and. Yeah, and it's really nice. You sort of take up these missions, and essentially the concept of the game is, I think it's been out long enough that I can sort of, it's not even a spoiler really, but the idea of the game is that you start off on the east coast of America, and basically you're trying to rebuild America by setting up what they call the chiral network, which from what I understand is like the internet, pretty much. Yeah, the chiral network. So essentially you need to travel across America from east coast to the west coast and set up this network by using these key things, which is essentially the internet, to reconnect the entirety of America back together again in like a post-apocalyptic state. So
I actually kind of love the idea of this game.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's really relaxing to play as well.
I don't think I could deal with all the cutscenes that you spoke about, but
I think it seems to be slowing down a bit now. It seems to be more focused on almost free roam. Obviously it is free roam, but free roam style as in like you could take up side missions and go and find random cargo to deliver, and because if other players, and like remember it's vaguely loosely online, if other people die or stack down a hill like I did, their cargo stays there and you can deliver it for them and stuff. So it's really interesting, man. It's a really unique, like, I mean, obviously unique is such a oversung word for this game, but it really is.
People were complaining about it not being a shooter.
Yeah.
Assuming this game has shooting in it.
I think it does.
Oh, okay. Have you not got to that part yet? I was going to ask how the shooting is in the game.
Oh no, nowhere near that part. It's not signposted as like a main mechanic of the game by any means. The main mechanic of the game is you are a delivery man. That is it. You literally pick up a thing and they say, right, I need you to take these medical supplies from here to Zimbabwe, and you're like, all right, cool. And you have to.
What makes it difficult? Because I know Zimbabwe is somewhere in America.
Yeah. So Zimbabwe's up like a really high mountain, and then you have to like climb up the mountain. It's basically traversing the terrain is the challenge of the game.
Oh, okay. All right.
But you've also got the environmental hazards as well as the what they call the spirit
BTs.
Yeah.
So it's a really bad explaining game. So basically, you're a postman trying to reconnect America with this chiral network. To be fair, I haven't got the easiest game to explain, have I?
No, not at all.
But yeah, so you're trying to reconnect America using the chiral network, which is basically the internet, and you are essentially a delivery man taking on tasks to do deliveries. While you're doing that, you can perform tasks which give you likes, which is the currency in this world, and by getting likes you can get better materials to get things like I built a post box last week, which was exciting, but you can also, if you get enough likes, you can get like a motorbike and stuff, which you can leave for other players to use, and then you get more likes, and then you get more currency, and you can help basically literally rebuild America. So the amazing thing about this game is that the gameplay is you are rebuilding America. So you're literally rebuilding it. You can build bridges literally in the game. So you can build bridges to connect two towns together, and that shows up in loads of people's games as well. You know, you can build post boxes, you can build vehicles, you can build whatever.
Do you have to stand there yourself and build it, or do you have to hire people?
No, you do it yourself. You use like nanotechnology or whatever to build
like
it.
A floating 3D printer or something.
Yeah, something crazy. I don't know. But yeah,
I have a couple of questions.
Sorry. To finish that point, so it's basically that's the gameplay, but then the story completely intertwines with that because the story is to rebuild America, and the gameplay is to rebuild America. Do you know what I mean? It's like this perfect combination. So it's really, really interesting, man. Go on, Dan.
So, firstly, everyone's talking about Chapter 3, or the end of Chapter 3, I think, being the turning point in this game, where it all gets super interesting from there.
I am not there.
Okay, cool. So one thing I've heard about this game, so have you had other players like stuff that you've put into the world yet?
I have built a post box.
Did you get any? Did you get any likes on it? No
that pressure. Was the last thing I did when I turned it off.
Oh, okay.
So I do not know. Yeah, I can report next week.
Well, I read something about this the other day, which I thought was really fascinating, and that's that. Obviously, you're in this shared world of all these random players, right? So the way that it works is the more things you like, and the more your things are liked by particular players, the more it joins your worlds together. So
I've heard this.
You'll start finding familiar names and things that people that you recognise have built or put into the world, and you can finish off their creations. And I just find it's super fascinating that your virtual realities, I guess, are starting to merge together the more you connect with each other without ever having to see each other. I thought that was that's mind-boggling. I love that.
This game is literally the entire game is encapsulated by connection.
Yeah.
Like that word connection. Like the game is you have to connect cities together, right? The story is you need to connect cities together. The gameplay is connecting with other players by creating this world again, and then you connect further together by liking each other's things and helping each other out. And
but you don't do it for the points, do you? Like from the sounds of it, you do it to make your experience navigating your way through this really harsh world an easier experience.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that I find really interesting about this game is nobody wants to replay it, so you only get one chance to experience this, really. Because it's like a 60-hour game. I'm not being funny. Most people that start...
Sorry, excuse me?
It's a long game, dude.
Oh, hell...
It's a long...
a post box.
I thought I completed it. I thought that was the last mission.
It's a long-ass game.
Yeah, but surely if I have a post box, I could just deliver all the cargo in there, and that's it.
Yeah, no. If you want to complete it anyway, like story-wise, I'm sure you could just play it casually and keep doing whatever you're doing, but you know.
I have two questions.
Go on, Dan, finish your point.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Last point then was what I really like about how this game. This isn't really a question at all. Sorry, Ben. It's more a point. I was going to ask you about combat, which Kevin's already touched on. I was going to ask those people that chase you, the package thieves. Can you fight back at all? Like if they get close to you, what happens? Can you start swinging at them? Do you grapple? Do they?
I haven't been caught yet because I'm super sneaky.
You haven't been caught yet. Okay,
no.
That makes it a little bit more scary, though, isn't it? Because you have no idea what's going to happen.
I have no idea what was going to happen in this game at all, and it is honestly fascinating. I love it. I literally have absolutely no idea what's going on currently. I have no idea what's going to happen, and I don't even know what's going to happen in the gameplay because it's so damn confusing and so unique that anything could happen. I don't know what's going to happen at all. I didn't know that if I peg it down a hill, I'm going to go flying and my stuff is going to scatter all over the place. I didn't know that. I didn't know that if you go into a water that is slightly too deep and you don't have enough stamina, you get washed away. I didn't know that. I didn't know you couldn't swim. I didn't know anything about the game. And I love that it doesn't hold your hand. I'm literally a delivery man that's lost his memory. And that's not the story, that is just me. I don't know what I'm doing and I love it. It's so good.
Are there any bits you don't like about it so far?
Not so far. I am a little bit worried about it being 60 hours.
You shouldn't have told him that, man. This is what I don't like, knowing the times when
No,
games,
it's a good thing that I do know. No, because I was taking it a bit too slow, to be honest. Like I've played about 5 or 6 hours in the last 3 weeks, or whatever it's been. So, but I think it might end up being dragging a bit, and I am. it's more worried about what it's going to be like by the time I finish it, not currently. I have no issues with it currently, I don't think. Apart from the BT bits are a bit confusing.
Okay.
So, but I mean, like everything in the game's confusing. Where like they're like your little, your little radar thing that pops up that goes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So that it's supposed to like show you where the BTs are, but I just have absolutely no idea what's going on. And it's like there's BTs about, and you go into like sneaky mode, and then it sort of flashes, and I'm like, what are you flashing at? And then suddenly I'm getting grabbed by gloopy people from underground, and I don't know. So the BT bits are a bit confusing, but I think I'll probably understand it eventually. I did read as I turned off the game last time that apparently if you use your scan, which makes a lot of sense, it shows like the shadows of the BTs. Then it would make more sense in trying to like avoid them. Because at the moment I've just been looking at the direction the flashy thing's flashing in. So,
well, you've got 60 hours to experiment, so I'm sure you'll work.
I'll figure it out by hour 50, I reckon.
Okay,
go on, Dan. Kevin, even yeah.
I think they're quite quick. First one, can you play this game offline? Do you have to play it online?
No.
Okay, I like that. 2.
I don't know why you would want to, but
why would you want to do that?
If you're playing online with all these people and you can see all these things that people are building, surely eventually this place is going to be so cluttered with everything that everyone's built.
No, it's really complex the way it works. It's not like that. It's not like thousands of people and hundreds of thousands of people sharing a Minecraft world. It's nothing like that at all. It's more like Dan said, you build connections with certain players, and it's your world combined.
How do you know that like does it just choose a random person at that time?
It's kind. I presume it's kind of random. Yeah, I don't. I think anyone really knows how the tech works behind it, but it's not saturated at all.
So everything you do yourself in your world is always saved. You're not just going to be plopped into another world that something is there that you're not.
No. Yeah, your side of it's saved. Yeah. So if you leave a ladder somewhere, it's fine.
You know what? Fair enough. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, it's the online part of it's very interesting. When I first heard about it being online, I was like, but it just works so well. It's so interesting. It's such a weird mechanic.
They put some online, but they don't do too much.
I cannot wrap my head around how it works. Like I really have sat and thought about how they merge worlds like that without any player losing anything in their own world, just dynamically. It makes no sense in my brain. I just can't fathom how they've come up with something like that. Like, I guess it would take months, but in theory, I think you said this to me actually, you could build like a road from one place to another, like a full stretch of road all the way there that you could just ride down and do deliveries back and forth on. And I love that, because at one point I was like you were saying, Kevin, because like in theory, could you build a town from scratch, like actually build up a full settlement of sorts? But I don't think it's quite like that. It's the utilities.
I don't know if that. Kojima is such a nut job, right? I have no idea what he has in store for this game. He could quite literally be his plan for this game could quite literally be, right, this is post-apocalyptic America, complete dead zone, the entire thing, and his plan for the game could literally be like, we're rebuilding America, and he just slowly incorporates these things into the game where it's like, and you can make cities, and you can
rebuild civilization.
Yeah, and it's just, I honestly don't know. I have no idea what he's planning.
Imagine if there was like a twist one day where suddenly, like, there was a flash of light, and you just everyone that you've been playing with, you could see them standing in front of you. Like, I mean, you would all be Norman Reedus, so it'd be weird as hell. Norman. Morning, Norman.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this game. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah. It's pretty damn good. Sorry, just writing down Morning Norman. Okay, so should we talk about our game that we've all played?
Yeah.
Do it.
So, last week, me and Ryan played some Overwatch, and we just got so fed up with it. We were like, I'm done. We need to find a new game to play. And then we thought, okay, let's find a new game. So we had a look around, and then a game that's been on my radar for a long time popped up on Steam, and I was like, And it's a game called Risk of Rain 2.
Best find of a game.
So me and Ryan were going to play it, and then Kevin just butts his way in nobody's business. Me and Ryan were like, right, let's play it. Yeah, Kevin was just like, I'm gonna play, and we didn't even say what the game was. He had no idea. Like,
ogre.
we could have been playing like SingStar or something, but Kevin is just so desperate for human interaction that he had to play. So Kevin joined us, and then I thought we better ask Dan as well. But no, I'm joking, because me and Dan were originally going to play it ages ago. So invited Dan as well, and then we had all four of us, and we played Risk of Rain 2. So who wants to start?
Kevin.
Okay. So this game is it's like basically it's you start on like random different worlds, and enemies spawn. You have to kill these enemies. You have to then, with all the money you get, you open your boxes, and those boxes have items. Everything is all very randomly given to you, and then once you've done your level, or once you've proceeded as far as you want on that level, you go fight the boss and you teleport to another level, and you keep going and going and going. With that, there's also a little bar in the top corner that's like the difficulty level, and it starts on easy, and it would slowly, gradually go up and up and up and up and up until it gets to, I think the highest level is called Ha Ha Ha, and it just keeps going on forever. But this game just gets exponentially harder. So all the people you have to kill they have more health, they do more damage, everything's but obviously with that you get better yourself, and you're getting all your all your money and all your equipment and stuff. And it's just this game is just chaos. There's I mean,
that's the perfect word for it. I think chaos.
Yeah. When you're playing with 4 people, I'd say maybe like the 3rd level you go on to, building up on that point, everything's just everywhere. There's just non-stop madness and chaos. And not only that, the game has the grind factor where you have so much to unlock. You just have to keep playing and unlocking more and more and more and more things. And if you get achievements for certain things, you unlock certain new characters, you unlock certain new equipment, and it's such a simple game, but just so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, they've just hit the nail on the head, man. Like it's a lot of people. There's a good solid amount of people that like roguelike procedurally generated games. Yeah. This isn't procedurally generated, is it? But you know, there's a lot of people that like your roguelike games, and this is just like almost perfect. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, did I describe the game quite well?
Yeah. So yeah, it's what Kevin said. Basically, level by level, gets harder and harder. Enemies randomly generated, and you can get wacky abilities and just an insane different combinations of things. Like
that's what I like about it. I like, you know, I think if anyone's played Binding of Isaac, come the end of the game, or like when you get really deep into it, you can have so many abilities that link so well and cleverly together that you end up like every single time you play it, you're such a different character. With this one, it's not completely different, but it is different in its own in certain ways.
So that's probably my only quarrel with the game, is that the characters fundamentally are the same.
Yeah.
Really. So the only thing you're really changing is your no. So each character is different, but your character is the same.
Late game kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because there's only certain.
You're only upgrading the mechanics that your character has.
Yeah, like you don't pick up an item that would depend on what character you're playing, would make that character a bit different. For example, one of the characters is a sword guy, but if you get increased attack speeds, he just slaps his sword a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like Binding of Isaac, you could get something that shoots 3 things instead of 1, so that's changing a core mechanic.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you don't gain any extra abilities. I mean, apart from that one active one, you know.
For example, with the sword guy, instead of that, you could get 2 swords, and then you could slap obviously you'll be tapping twice as fast, but it's something just a bit,
or
I don't know, a bit
melee
extra.
weapon completely, a spear or an
Yeah,
axe
exactly,
or
yeah.
something. I did
that's
actually
my
notice that
issue.
on the first playthrough when you start with dual pistols on the first character you play as, and as you start getting a bit deeper into the game, you're like, are these ever going to change? I do remember feeling that. I do remember thinking, like, am I going to get a new gun at some point? But you don't. It's not about that. I totally get what you mean.
Yeah, that's my issue with it. That is the thing that, in my opinion, stops it from being like pretty much perfect for that type of game. You know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, imagine that versatility with like the items and how much they change, how much they can change that your core abilities is a lot. Yeah, like, you know, having like your weapon, your damage bouncing off of enemies exploding when you kill them, and all this stuff. Yeah, but imagine how much better it would be if you could have completely different weapons with those abilities. Imagine if you stuck 200 weapons in that game. Yeah. Just like all slightly different. So you got like an assault rifle, for example, that's a submachine gun shoots really fast, fine, lower damage, yeah. But you stick that with you got the item that does sticks random proximity grenades on them. So obviously you could stick loads of grenades on them because you've got an SMG, or you've got the, I don't know,
for example,
a shotgun that makes it that, and you got the damage up close and stuff. You know, just different things like that. I think it would just add so much more variation because I already feel it getting a bit stale when I've only played for like 5 hours.
From what I can see, this game's still quite early on. Is it?
Yeah, it's still early access, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Yeah, there's so much coming to it.
Not necessarily, because it doesn't look like there's much more to come. There's these things like level modifiers, which could be quite interesting, and a couple more characters. That's about it, by the looks of it.
Yeah, the characters though, they've hit the nail on the head with it, man. They are all so cool and so unique. Ryan played one of the new ones we got yesterday, and he is like a game changer.
Who is he? Which one?
He's more of like a defensive character, so he can put up shields, and literally nothing gets through the shield.
Oh, damn!
But obviously the shield has a health and stuff.
That's still mad though.
And it was, but his character's like attack is awful. Does like no damage.
Oh, is it the little slappy dude?
No, he uses like turrets and stuff. And
I've got him. Yeah, I've got him. Yeah.
But he's like in general, it's such a game changer with all your other characters. It's so
But
helpful.
the fact that his turrets use your standard passive abilities is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so it's just. I mean, I want to go now and play a game, man. Goodbye, everyone.
10 more minutes, man. Come on.
I think what I like about it is, to my knowledge, there aren't that many proper team-based multiplayer roguelikes at all. Like, obviously, Binding of Isaac is, I think, 2-player. But from the top of my head, I can't think of any more. Somebody's going to correct me on this and say there's loads more. And if there are, then let me know. But I love...
No, but of this quality is my issue. Yeah.
And it's worth noting as well that it's like a third-person shooter. Again, you don't see that kind of perspective in these types of games. Usually they're side-scrolling or top-down. And as the game gets harder, I mean, even actually from the very start, you do find yourself thinking about tactics and strats, but on a relatively casual level. So it's not super intense. It's just like, you know, this character should have these items, and this character should have these items. And
I'm wondering whether we're missing the point of this game, and it's more of a competitive game than we realise. That it's more like... Do you remember... Okay, for example, do you remember Left 4 Dead? When people used to get the achievements on Left 4 Dead, and used to have to think like really tactically to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like there was that achievement which was at the end of the key on the second level, I think. And you had to survive that last onslaught of zombies in one of the chapters without getting touched once by a zombie, and it was like insane. And I wonder whether that's going to be there's going to be lots of secrets in the game and stuff, and there's going to be like, because we've already found a few of the portals and things like that.
Tons of secrets, yeah.
And I wonder whether that's the premise of the game, and we're missing the point, thinking that it's just a roguelike, when in reality it's not. It's more of a, not score chasing, but like, like in Minecraft where there's all those bosses and stuff. Like there's maybe there's loads of bosses hidden in this game which you can only get to in certain ways.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I wonder whether we're kind of missing the point and we need to play it more.
Have you seen the list of stuff that we haven't unlocked, like the stuff that's got question marks?
Yeah, but they're items. I'm not really bothered about items.
No,
I'm
there's
bothered about
enemies
content.
as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
of
there's a
them.
lot, man.
Yeah, there's a
Like
lot
this,
we haven't
this,
played.
this game has so much replayability because to unlock all these different things, and it's I think it's brilliant.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is
think
very
you were there when I think it was me, you, and me, Kevin, and Ryan that were doing a level the other day, and we accidentally spawned this massive sphere boss thing, and it was this epic fight that gave us some crazy exploding bullet loot stuff. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
That was some mad level with like 3 bosses in one level. It was nuts. But yeah,
That's the stuff I'm interested in. I get bored of the repetitive grind of just playing the same levels over
There's
and over
gonna
again.
be
I want to
grind.
see these. No, I know, yeah, but I want to see these interesting, different ones. You know.
Yeah,
That I think that lot will come with getting better at the game.
Yeah,
because
probably.
because I mean I've only experienced any of this on the easiest level, whereas on medium I don't think I would have experienced any of this so far.
Yeah, that's the other side. Is I do wonder because obviously everything is you're not going into the next game with anything extra. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll always start off at the same point. So I'm wondering what tactics we need to use to be able to progress the same distance that we do in easy, but in normal and hard.
I think a lot of it is down to what time wasting. So
Agreed. Yeah.
This game is very tactical in terms of you have to decide when you want to move on to the next stage in order to depend on how hard you want your difficulty. So if you're like lingering around, the difficulty bar is going up, and then come the next level, the difficulty bar will shift up. So at the end of every single level, the difficulty bar shifts up a third, I think.
But this conversation that we're having right now, I think describes perfectly what I love so much about this game. Is there's so much more thought involved in each playthrough than most standard roguelikes. You do genuinely have to strategize and work out what approach you're going to take every time you do a run. It's not just shoot the moving targets, pick up all the loot, and run to the next level.
Yeah,
there's more to it than that. It's a bit deeper, and yeah, I've had a blast of this. It's really
so
really
have I. I mean, the only reason I'm saying it's getting a bit stale.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I'm more worried about the longevity of it because it has the potential to be like an amazing hundreds of hours game, but I'm worried that it's not going to be that.
I mean, last night when you jumped on, you seemed like you could not be bothered to play that game.
I couldn't be bothered to play any game, Kevin.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was just because you were playing that game.
Yeah.
No.
Then as well.
No. I was literally sitting there just like, I should play a game. And then she came on and I was like, I don't want to play games. That was it. So, yeah. But I have a strong suspicion that this is going to be on one of our Game of the Year lists, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so far I've not had this much enjoyment in a game in a long time.
I'm pondering that it might be on Kevin's list. Yeah.
I mean,
Kevin was squeezing in 10 minutes of play before the podcast started. I was like, I must get my fix.
I actually started the game, you know that. I started the game and he was like, okay, should we record now? I was like, oh.
I think just for... Right, yeah. So that's Risk of Rain 2. We happy with that?
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, we'll probably be discussing it a bit more as the weeks go on because I doubt we're going to put this game down anytime soon. So that is at the end of the Praise the Pickle podcast, episode 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? So,
yeah.
I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you stuck it out till this point, thank you very much for listening. If you didn't, you suck. To
all you people not listening, you suck.
So feedback-wise, obviously we've had a lot of feedback regarding the top threes, people sending us their top three and stuff. But we want to shift our focus if we can, right? It's, you know, when you go on Reddit and you see the AMAs, ask me anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the vibe I want. I want people ask us anything, right? Anything you're curious about.
Not even to do with gaming.
Yeah, anything. But like, for example, I'll just throw some out there. What if you could create a movie? What genre of movie would you make? If if you could choose to only see one colour for the rest of your life, what colour would you choose? if you could vape any flavour. No, that's for the listeners to ask, right?
If you want to know that,
if you could only see one colour, then surely it would cease being a colour because then it has no frame of reference.
all right, Dan. Go back to your hole.
Dad, just get out. Yeah, so just honestly ask us anything. Just socialise with us, man. Do it. Send us messages. We'll have a chat with you. It doesn't have to be proper feedback. Through thingy. You can just message us on any of the things. We'll have a chat. And if you want to play Risk of Rain with us, we'll play Risk of Rain with you. If you want to play some Overwatch with us, we won't play that with you because we hate it now. Yeah, so that's the end of the show. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Kevin, you want to hit us with your poem again, or do you want to just say them now? We're getting into dangerous timing territory now.
So it goes. You can tweet us or message us on Twitter at PraiseThePickle. Email us praisethepicklepodcast@gmail.com. By the way, happy Pickler. Where were you, mate?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Facebook, which is facebook.com/praisethepickle, and that's the main three. We've
Instagram.
Instagram, which is Praise the Pickle
podcast. Praise the Pickle is just some random dude.
Okay.
It's a bit awkward.
He's got 1 million likes in the last 2 months. And he's like,
Yeah.
where are these
Who are
people
these
coming
people?
from?
Why are they talking about games? Yeah, or our website or YouTube. Yeah, go drop us anything, and make sure you like, subscribe, and
main
tell
thing,
all
leave
your
us ratings and
humans.
reviews on iTunes.
Yes.
That's the main one because that gives us a
Rating
lot of
and
exposure. Yeah.
Ideally,
Yeah.
good ratings if possible.
No, but I don't care. Any rate's fine. And in terms of in terms of the pod and the next month and a bit. So obviously we're coming up to the end of the year. So we are going to be doing our moonlighting of the Outer Worlds. I felt quite nice there now, I'll be honest. At the end of the month. So we don't quite know schedule yet, but essentially we're going to be doing like an in-depth review of the Outer Worlds and what we thought of most aspects of the game.
And I believe we'll all be together for that one, so you'll get more of a with us in the room.
We're going to try and video that if we can, it's going to be with Mr. Adam as well. So that will be nice. You get to see him in the flesh
and
see us
his
in the flesh.
Voice.
Yeah, sexy Norwegian voice. It's not even Norwegian.
I was going to say, I was like, I didn't know he was Norwegian.
It just comes with like, hello.
You can see how much he looks like PewDiePie as well. And then, also, we're going to be doing a Game of the Year show. And I've realised that we keep saying that, it's going to be on our list. The way we're probably going to do it, we haven't finalised it yet, but we're going to be having a knockout playoff style thing where we all bring 4 or 5 games to the table each of what we think could be Game of the Year, and then we face them off against each other until we end up with one final Game of the Year. So when we say it's going to be on our list, it means that if we have our 4 or 5 games each for this list, that's what I mean.
And also, if you feel like we haven't mentioned any games so far that you think should be up there, please let us know, and either jog our memory, or it might give us an incentive to play one of these games, because
we're running out of time. So send that. But I mean, Kevin's probably the one with the most free time. Once he's finished Outer Worlds, he needs to get on something.
What do you mean I'm with the most free time?
No, in terms of games, because once you finish Outer Worlds, you've got time, haven't you? So I'm thinking,
what, until to play the next game in a month?
No, but we're not doing one for December because it's Game of the Year.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I got loads of time, mate. Throw them all at me.
So yeah, anyway, hit us up with some feedback. Let us know if we are any games we need to play. Love you all. Peace out. Pickle.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Pickle, 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 pickle.